capacity, but it's an exciting time for everyone in the world today because, much like the 1849s or 17, when was it? The gold rush in San Francisco. The 49ers are named after that, right? For some reason, I have not had any monster drinks tonight. Anyway, the selling online, the e-commerce sales is much like that gold rush today. It's a very exciting time. People are able to change their lives using e-commerce. They'll be able to reach global audiences they could never reach before, and make a very good living, a life-changing living, a living that allows you to own planes that cost more than most people's homes, that let you live on ranches out away from the urban area, or live in the middle of New York if that's what your dream is, or any major city. But it's life changing, and it's just basically a series of processes. Now, what we're going to go over today is going to talk about something I call the quick launch process, and this is a set of processes that I built over the period of the last years on Amazon to help us speed up the process of launching products. One of the biggest challenges we ran into very early on was that you would go find a product that looked like it was good, do some research on Amazon, look for competition, see if you could if there was opportunity there, and then you would go and try to source that product somewhere. Maybe it's through a wholesaler or potentially through Alibaba, and then you'd find someone to manufacture something like it. Maybe you'd make a change, put your own logo on it, something like that. Then you'd put it in a retail package, pay a designer to design your package, pay a graphic artist to do all that work, do your logos, all of that work, and then you'd order it, put 30% down at least on your order through Alibaba, wait for them to manufacture it, then pay to get it shipped, have to go through all the customs clearance and the paperwork and freight to get it to your location. Then you'd have to prep it for Amazon based upon Amazon's guidelines and label it all up and then repackage it all up and then get those 50 or 60 products that you just bought, or 100 maybe, or 10 or whatever it is, into Amazon and try to sell it. And that took a long time. And what I found was if you put 50 or 100 products on Amazon and it was something people wanted, those things were gone in a very short period of time. And now you're trying to reorder and you're actually behind the curve. But today, with the information that's available and using just standard processes and virtual assistants or partner companies, you can do this without all that extra work. I mean, I remember when my wife told me to get out of the house because I had my e-commerce business take over the garage first, then the office, then the living room. Then she got sick and tired of it and told me I needed to get out. And I got my first small office warehouse. It was about 1,000 square feet. A year later, we were at 2,500 square feet. 2 years later, we were 4,500 square feet. And and we're already at capacity, so we're not going to go to 10,000 square feet. We're probably going to go to 15 or 20,000 square feet. We're actually looking at 20,000 square feet right now to be able to continue to grow this business. So it moves really fast, and all it takes is a process. So what we're going to talk about are some of the processes. So the number one most important part of having a successful e-commerce business, no matter where you sell, is sourcing products. The biggest challenge I had early on in my career was finding continuous, reliable sources of products. In the very, very, very beginning, in the late '90s, when I started on eBay, basically I was in IT, right? So I'm an IT guy, and a lot of Y2K stuff was happening. And what I was doing was buying PCs and servers and switches and equipment from enterprise companies that were upgrading all their stuff. And I would just refurbish it, clean it up, and then I'd sell it on eBay. Well, that wasn't a continuous, reliable source of products. That was a pallet here, a pallet there. So then I started looking around trying to find other reliable sources, and I got into liquidation. And I started working with liquidating companies and buying products from liquidators, and that's a dangerous business because most of the time, if somebody's liquidating something, it's junk unless you go straight to the source. And I learned that early on and ended up doing that, and ended up with a contract with a major retail store and got semi-trucks every single week of retail goods. But the problem with those goods was it was shelf pulls, returns, displays, open box. Most of it needed to be, every single item had to be touched. Every single item had to be inspected, tested, photographed. It was a major nightmare and took a lot of work. The only reason we were able to do good at it and make money was because we had processes. But that's a very tiring industry. 08, 09, that changed. The economy changed, and it killed my retail store, and subsequently put us in a position where I decided to go 100% online. And so we did. That's what we did. We went online. Something. Gochu's trying to tell me something here. So by going online, what we did was we started taking the same ideas for process and scalability and doing that. But we still had challenges finding reliable sources of products. Well, instead of all the pain of trying to do online private labeling, which I did, and we were very successful and built a $5 million a year business doing that, what I found was the people who were really, really successful in this, the ones whose lives were majorly changed, didn't source by going to Alibaba and finding the products and checking Amazon. They went directly to China and they purchased products from manufacturers. And they got better pricing so they could beat me on price. They bought more products. They understood how to launch better. They built huge businesses. So I decided that that was what we needed to do, and I had a good friend of mine who had a $1 million a year business last December when he was coaching our mastermind on what he did, and showed him his Amazon account. $1 million a month, $12 million a year business. So he's double what I'm doing in December last year. He is currently substantially higher than that now. And I asked him what he was doing, and the difference between what he did and what I did was he was sourcing direct. So I actually asked him to teach me. And he did, taught me exactly how he did it. And so I've been using that process, but the benefit that I have that he doesn't have is I have a freight company, I have a FBA prep facility, and I have all those processes that he doesn't have. So it gives us a little bit of an advantage in many ways. So continuous reliable products allow you to continually supply demand for your products on Amazon. If you don't have a continuous reliable source, you're constantly having to list up something different, you're running out of stock, and you're probably piggybacking other listings, you're buying wholesale, or you're getting liquidated goods, or you're doing something like retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, or general arbitrage. It does make money, I won't knock it at all, but it isn't the kind of money that the effort that you put there to sell somebody else's product for a little bit of cash didn't appeal to me. It wasn't building a business, it was just flipping stuff for money. And, there's nothing wrong with that. Side hustle's good. Flipping for money's good. If that's what you're looking for, that is a great thing. But if you're looking to build a scalable business, one that has the potential to be generational money, one that can pay for the kids' college and make sure that you don't have any debt, one that can change your life, one that can buy you a $250,000 airplane, one that can do things for you that you never thought possible, that's probably not a great way to do it. So, but again, that's personal opinion and what your needs are, what you want to try to do. For me, it wasn't working. So I looked for reliable sources, and I found going direct to China and sourcing products there was the best way to develop relationships with manufacturers and suppliers, to get continuous supply, and to be able to feed the demand that would happen when I sold products on Amazon. One of the things I look for when I do that, and hopefully I went over that a lot, guys, because that's number one most important thing. If you can't do that, then this gets harder. If you can do that, then this actually becomes very simple, easy, and repeatable. The second thing, we want to find products that have an established demand. A lot of people want to build online businesses with this great new idea for the latest, greatest something new that they have, and it's great to have ideas. I've had patents, I've had stuff patented, I'm in IT. My expertise is voice and video over IP, so if this is messing up, we're going to blame GoToWebinar. Uh, but the reality is it's very hard and very expensive to build a business that doesn't sell products that people already understand and want to buy. It's a lot simpler to build a very large business very quickly if you sell people something they already want. For example, the hoverboards. Nobody knew what they were. There was no demand for the hoverboards until Farrell and the Bieber kid posted their Twitter feed or Instagram or wherever they posted it, them riding them around, doing that deal on the stage and everything. And then, after they did that, the demand came. And only then did I buy some of those products and sell them. And we'll talk about fad products later on. That's a different subject. But only then did I buy it because the demand was already there. So it's very easy to supply the demand and make things happen. The other things we need to do when we source our products are find products that have gaps in the market that we can exploit. In other words, something like silicone barbecue mitts may not be the best product in the world to source because there are literally 400 pages of ASMers who are selling that exact same product. And if you look at the numbers, the demand isn't there, and there are no really good gaps in the market. Selling things like specific supplements that are really popular and really have a very aggressive and large market. That's a difficult one as well because the market is saturated, and it costs a lot of money to play in the supplement market, a lot of money. So you're looking for gaps that you can afford. You're looking for products that fit your budget so that you can get in and start making some money. We do research. I use Jungle Scout. I use several different keywords tools. I do like Jungle Scout a lot. If one of these days we may ask Greg to come on and talk to people, but he's got some great information on it. Jungle Scout can help us to get that information. It's not the only tool we use, but it is a good one to start with. And then there's so many different types of keyword tools that are beneficial. But when I started, it was Google, the Google keyword tool. That was it. And it worked very well because Google's the largest shopping in the world. I mean, most of what we look at and look for is on Google, and so including Amazon. So we can see kind of and get an idea of what the global market is, and even break it down into countries and segments using the Google tool. There are other keyword tools that we can use for other things too, but that's kind of what we want to do. So we're going to find our suppliers. We're going to look for products that have an established demand. We're going to look for gaps in the market to exploit products that have those available. We're going to use Jungle Scout and keyword tools to do our product research. Then we're going to place orders of our products based upon that research that we did. Not based upon I want to do 50 to test out the market. That's just not a very good way to really grow fast. If you're going to launch products, gain BSR rank, and be able to own that segment and stay and keep your BSR and your page position well, that doesn't work as well as it could. Again, not going to say that it doesn't work and it's not something that people have used in the past and potentially grown a business, but I just find that it takes a lot longer. And today the market moves a lot faster. There's a lot more competition nipping at your heels. So if you aren't there first, you will get squeezed out real quick. The other thing that I do when I source my products is I ship by ocean, almost 100% of the time. Now, that's not saying I don't do some air freight. I do, but I will ship my products by ocean over and over again. And it's not hard if you put the processes in place to do that and be effective. And the reason I do this whole process here, which is just one process out of the 5 we're going to talk about, the reason I do my sourcing in this manner, the reason I ship by ocean, the reason I do research and figure out what I need to do, the reason I want products that have established demand, and the reason I look for reliable sources is because a long time ago somebody taught me that you win in sales on the buy, not on the sell. Go to a car dealership and trade in your car. They will never offer you book, or they will offer you their book, not the book that you get to research. And it's generally substantially less than what your book says your car is worth. And the reason is because they're trying to win on the buy. They know if they offer you less, they can sell that car and make money on it, even if they sell it at auction. And generally what they're looking at is, if I can't sell it in my lot in a 2 weeks, a month, or 2 months, we can throw it in the auction and we'll get all our money back and make a little bit there. And they don't lose. So they're winning on the buy when they do that. The same thing goes when we source our products. If you buy your products, and let's just use some examples here. I did this yesterday and it worked out well. Hold on one second, because I'm going to make sure this thing isn't trying to tell me that this isn't working. Whoa, hello. Well, it is trying to tell me something, isn't it? Hey, Jeff, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay,
you
I'm just
fine.
double
And
checking.
like nobody's usually when all of a sudden when stuff goes out, like I haven't gotten a text from Mitch, and nobody's like typing in, "Hey, we can't hear you. Hey, we can't hear you." So I think we're good. Totally think
Well,
it's
I'm getting see the little bouncer? I don't know if you
yeah. Is
can
that
see
because
it.
I actually did a chat message out to everyone because I forgot to tell them how to ask a question, so that meant you too. So I don't know if it's
That's
just
probably it.
so
I
sorry
just wanted
about
to make
that.
sure it was working. Everything was so quiet. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh no, I hope I haven't dropped. I'm on
no,
Wi-Fi at my house.
you're
So
you're good, brother. We are just all listening intently, man.
yeah, sweet. So we were talking about winning on the buy, right? So
Yep.
winning on the buy, guys. The key to doing this is to win that way. So I'm going to use an example to help you guys understand that it's really simple, right? If you buy a product in China on Alibaba and it costs you $1.25, $1.25 US, and you ship it via DHL, and it costs you another $1.25 to ship it DHL, you get it in your hands for $2.50. And then, of course, you're going to have duty, and you're going to have to do your prep work and put stickers on it and labels and all that, and you can be outsourcing that today or not. You still have a cost involved in that. But let's just use the $2.50. Now, you send it to Amazon, and if you're a smart business person, you'll use something called keystone pricing. Keystone pricing is this: whatever your landed cost is in the US, you double it to sell wholesale, and you double the wholesale price to sell at retail. The reason is because to sell retail, you have marketing costs, you have advertising costs, you have the cost of sale, you have insurance costs, and you have other costs that are included in your business that you need to account for. And Amazon will easily take 25% or more of your money, of the sale price. So if you're not using that type of pricing model, you're putting yourself in a bad position. If you're just doubling your money trying to sell wholesale on Amazon, you're making what, 10%? You're not making a lot of money. So using the keystone pricing model, if it costs us 250, we need to sell it for 250 times 4, $10. So we have to sell that for $10. Now, I'm going to go use my model. I'm going to go directly to China. I'm going to buy it from the manufacturer. They're not going to have the Alibaba charges, and they're going to think I'm a very serious buyer. they're going to develop a relationship with me because I'm face-to-face with them. I'll have dinner with them. I'll shake their hands, and I'll negotiate prices right up the bat, and I'll start that beginning of that relationship. So I'm going to buy mine for 30 to 40% less than you did. So you bought it for $1.25. I got it for 75 cents. So I already bought it for 75 cents, right? Now, I bought it for 75 cents, but I didn't ship it DHL. I took the money I would have used to ship DHL, which would easily double the cost of that product, right? And I put it in a container and shipped it by ocean. And I'm just going to pull a number out because actually my last shipment, my number was like a nickel a unit, but, you know, it was a lot. You know, I'll use it for a small light item, shipping a large quantity via ocean. Let's just say it cost me a quarter. So now it costs me 25 cents a unit to get into the United States. Now, we're not talking duty, any of the FBA prep, any labels or anything, but that's what it cost me. So I bought it for 75. I landed it in the U.S. for $1. You got $2.50 in it. I got $1 in it. Using the same Keystone pricing method, I can sell it for $4. So I can beat your price by $6 a unit, which means I have that much margin to move around in and still make money. Now, that's a real low dollar figure in a very small example. So let's raise it up a little bit, and let's say you land it and you get it into Amazon for $5, so you have to sell that for 20 bucks. I get it and I land it and I get it into Amazon for $2.50. So now I can sell it for 10 bucks. You're selling it for 20 bucks, right? Amazon takes $5 from me, leaves me $5. I have $3 profit. That's 150% ROI. I can move my margin up. I can sell it for 20 bucks, just like you, right? If you can't move the number down, I can always stay lower than you in price. I have that much more margin. If I sold it at just Keystone pricing, I'd still make money. The ROI is great. But if I sell it for market price, which is that 20 bucks that you're selling it for, or maybe 15 because I can just, you know, eat your lunch that way, then basically I can own that market. And there's no way for you to catch me because you can't come down to the price I'm at. And that's why sourcing your products like this is extremely important. If you started your business doing it the old way, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you can do it and it works, that's great. But the minute someone like me finds your product and it's doing good for you, and I find that gap in the market and I find that product sourcing it like I do, I'm going to buy it for less. I'm going to buy more. I'm going to ship more. I'm going to launch more. I'm going to launch it harder and faster for less than you can come down to, and your market's going to go away. And if you're in this business and you have not already experienced that, then you're really new. Because once you've been here for a while, you'll see it happen. You'll see over time more and more people come in, and bigger players with bigger buying power who can buy it for less, who have the shipping and the processes that I have, will come in and take it away from you. So why do you want to start in a position of weakness when you can start in a position of strength? So, sourcing products, man, this is the Bible. This is really extremely important. If you guys have any questions on the sourcing side, definitely we're going to open it up here in a little bit for more questions and making it happen. I think I'm on a serious roll tonight. Last night, I've been working my tail off all week. I was a little off, a little tired, but you know, I'm bringing it tonight, guys. I am bringing it because I am serious about how this works. So,
dude, I'm telling you right now,
after we've sourced our products and we've got them inside our fancy little garage, office, warehouse, or our FBA prep partner, or however we do that, there's a lot of different ways to make that happen, right? We need to do some stuff, right? We need to list our products on our sales channels. So when listing our products, there's a few things that are important. This is a little bit out of order, so I'm going to skip this order a little bit, but I'm still going to go over everything here. All right, so the number one most important thing I look at when I'm listing my products, because I've already done the product research, right? And because I've done the product research, I know there's a market. And I probably know a pretty good estimate on how big the market is and how much of that market I can take. Notice I didn't say gain, earn, blah, blah, because it doesn't work that way. You take it. So I can have a good idea of how much of that market I can take and how fast I can take it. So I've got a good idea in that. I'm not concerned about the market now. I'm trying to list and make the best listing I can so that I can get people to want to buy my product. Number one thing I'm going to do is continue my keyword research. I'm going to drill down a lot harder in keywords, and I'm going to establish a seed set of keywords that I'm going to be using. It's my understanding Amazon has done some real good stuff on the back end keyword thing, and you can put like 5,000 keywords in 2 lines. It's insane, which is great. Which means you can just shred keywords. You definitely want to try to rank for the main keywords, which is one of the ones with the most traffic to it. And so we're going to determine what those are when we do our keyword research here. It's going to help us determine that market, which keywords we need to get, things like that to get things started. This is always being optimized, guys, so we'll go over that in a little bit. With the keywords, we're going to help develop our title. And the title is numero uno, right? The title is what develops or puts us in the search results, right? Somebody comes in, they go to Amazon, they search for toothpicks. Guess what? Toothpicks needs to be in your title of your product to get it. Now, you can rank for strange stuff. I have ranked for the word custom when there wasn't any, because we did a custom bundle, and my first keywords were my first title, and the first 2 words of my title were custom bundle. And so if you search custom bundle, we were there, we ranked hard. But we weren't searching for we weren't ranking for the right keywords, and we had to make some adjustments. There's a lot of different ways to do it. A lot of people preach a few different ways. I actually listened to one of my close friends who tells me that. Those of you who know him know his name's Brian Johnson. He's got great stuff. I've known him for quite a while. He's been friends with Jeff even longer. He's one of the smartest guys I know. I let him tell me he's got better. He's smarter than I am at that, but I do use his methods. They work very well. Generally, I don't put my name. I'm not trying to rank my name as a keyword necessarily, because I really don't care about that. I'm ranking for what people are searching, and when you're starting in this, and when you're putting up new products, and you have a new company, nobody knows who you are. If you're Sony, if you're Samsung, if you're one of the big boys, if you're a big boy like that, yeah, put it up in there. If you're a nobody, you can put it in, but I don't think I would put it in as my first 2 words or 1 word or anything like that. I'd rather use the main keywords that I want to rank for there, and then if I'm going to put my name in, I may put it at the end, like buy and my company, something like that. So we're going to build the title so that we come up in the search. That way when people search for that product and they get that list of products, you're going to show up. It's important that we show up. If we don't show up, they don't see us. If they don't see us, they don't buy. So the title gets us searched. They make us search. Getting our keywords indexed and getting in there so we can be searched is extremely important. Second most important thing in our listing is the picture. I'm skipping copy right now. The reason why is because once they come up in the search, what's the first thing you do? Just look at human nature, human psychology, human characteristics. What they do is they search. We use heat maps to watch websites a lot. Okay, there's one called Hotjar. There's quite a few of them. There's ones that are free. I have them on all my sites. And I can go on my site and I can see exactly what people do. A really, really accurate representation. They're going to search. It's going to come up. There's going to be a list, and they're going to look at the pictures on the left-hand side on Amazon. Straight down the pictures. That's the first thing they're going to do. They're going to be scanning pictures and titles because they've already searched for the product. Now they're looking at that picture, and the picture's going to grab their attention. So if you've got a plain Jane boring junk picture, you're not going to have a chance of grabbing their attention. And more people are getting better with their photos, so you need to be even better. So getting their attention with your branding, your package, your photo, super important. How you can do that, we can talk about details on that later, but we want to make sure we have good photographs because we're going to grab their attention. Because once we grab their attention, what is it that people do? Well, using heat maps, we can see that as soon as they do that, they start to scan to the right, and to the right they scan to the price. So they're doing a search. They're going to check and make sure that what they search for is what's showing up in that nice page 1. Then they're going to look at the photographs and scan and find the one that they're attracted to. Then they're going to look at the price. if your price is in the market, in other words, if you don't have to be the highest, you don't have to be the lowest, as long as you're within the market, you're going to be good. Guys, if you're pricing yourself to be the lowest, you're killing yourself and you're killing the market that you're in. Too many people online compete on price and don't understand how to do that. Use a bell curve. Look at the highest price and the lowest price, throw them in the garbage, and don't even think about putting your price there. I do not want to be the lowest. I want to be equal to or at the middle of the road or the most expensive. I try to stay out of the bottom, because if you're out of the bottom, you're in a race to the bottom, and your margins go away, and that product soon loses all its steam and all its money, and you're going to end up you'll end up having to divorce that product, and so it isn't going to make it happen. So price is the one that gets them to buy, guys. After the title gets you in the search, the picture gets their attention. Now, the copy, I call it the great tiebreaker. Because if they're searching and they find, and there's a couple of them they're interested in looking at, and your photograph and your price are appealing, but they want to know more, and there's a lot of smart people who do on Amazon, they're going to click on the link and open up your listing. And hopefully you have more than one photo, and you have lots of good stuff that kind of lets them envision themselves using your product and gives them the great benefit statements and things like that you're going to put in your copy, right? And because those are the reasons to buy. Don't put features. Nobody cares about features. Who really cares? Unless that feature is a benefit. It's really easy to get confused between features and benefits. They are different. But the copy is the reason to buy. So structure your copy as those reasons to buy. But at the same time, ensure that you're seeding your copy with keywords that you found doing your keyword research. Okay? I use the bullet points as my benefit statements, because I want that's there. It's right next to the picture when they first click on it and open it up. It's right there. Benefit, 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 benefit. Benefit needs to speak to them. Why? And generally, it needs to address a solution to a problem. That's really it. Okay. If you can do that, then people are more likely to make it happen. So that's going to do it. And then the description I use as even a bigger tiebreaker to add more information. Once you start doing and you get more advanced, you can start doing things like Vendor Express and get into Amazon marketing services and things like that. You can really have a great time building up killer web pages. So those things happen. And last, I'd like to talk about categories. A lot of people are playing the category game. And, and Brian will probably talk more about this. Other people will talk about it a lot. And for a long time, people would go and stick their stuff in some crazy subcategory, or even in an unrelevant category. And because they could rank their product and get a bestseller badge or something like that, and get more traffic that way. One of the things that I've never really done it, because generally people are smart, and Amazon got smart to that stuff pretty quick. And we see that if your categories aren't relevant, Amazon starts to be unhappy with you. So what we want to do is keep Amazon happy. So ensure you put your stuff in categories that are relevant. If you're selling toothpicks, it probably goes into the home and garden area. It probably goes under some subcategory in there. So that way it will be relevant. And based on your keywords in your listings, Amazon will also apply it to other categories. All right, so actually, did we break here and open up for questions last time, Jeff? Oops.
It was go back right. Yeah, it was right there on this slide was where we broke the FBA prep. I remember was at the top of the slide that we broke at yesterday.
Okay, just want to make sure.
So we can break for a second.
Yeah, so,
There's a couple sourcing questions if you want to do those, and then keep going.
Let's do that,
We
because
can
that's
keep
a better
going.
place to do it, and then we'll talk a little bit about some other things. So I can pop over.
Well, actually, there's this one. So Barb was asking, is sourcing from China the only way to go? What about sourcing from U.S. manufacturers, wholesalers, to save all the importing time and hassles?
No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You can definitely find wholesalers. I built $1 million a year Amazon store. I have more than one Amazon store, so uh, I have quite a few Amazon stores. So I have one Amazon store, and it's primarily nothing but wholesale goods that I got at ASD. I've been to ASD many times. Here's an interesting thing, guys. If you're buying at ASD wholesale, they bought it in or had it manufactured in China. They shipped it over, and they're doubling the cost that it would have cost you. So, if that works for you, that's cool. I did it. I've done it. The margins aren't as good. The money's not as good. It's not your product. You're at the mercy of selling somebody else's product. If they don't want you to sell it anymore, they can stop you from doing that. I've had it done to me many, many times. Again, I've been doing this for a long time. So selling somebody else's product is good for a little while. But if you start doing really well and they start getting concerned, guess what they'll do? They'll shut you off. They'll stop selling to you. And then what do? You've just lost a product that you invested all that time, money, effort in, and it's not yours in the first place. So helping build somebody else's brand, somebody else's product line, it's quick cash if it's big name brand stuff. So if you're selling Sony goods through legitimate authorized reseller with an agreement through Sony, and you can move the volume there, the volume will be so high that you will move enough product that the low margin may overcome that, but the cost to do that business, the capital expenditures will be substantially higher. So, I've already done it, and I've determined that although it was good at the time, I'm no longer, moving in that direction. And as our relationships age or move on, we're no longer trying to redo it anymore because it's just not profitable enough. When you net 10 to 20%, it's just not enough. It's not happening. And you're competing with 500,000 other people who are going to be doing the exact same thing. And so it's a race to the bottom even faster. Good question.
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked it. Anything else?
Yeah, then John kind of asked about a couple other places. Do you source from India or Vietnam? Any issues, or just stick with China?
Yeah, cool. Actually, that's great, man, because I was just thinking about that after I said that was a good question, and Jeff, you started talking, and I went, "Whoops!" But I forgot to tell you, you can source from other places. We have product that come through our facility from India, from South America, from
Mexico.
islands in the Pacific, from anywhere in the world. You can source from anywhere in the world. Matter of fact, the more unique and the more well, actually, that's probably the best word. The more unique it is, actually, the better it is for you. Because if you have something that's coming from somewhere else that they can't get it from, it's good. But if it's a good product and it does well, trust me, it will get copied quickly and make it happen. I just find that China, it tends to be the manufacturing hub of the world. Most of the products that come out of there go worldwide, and so it's an easier way to do it. It costs less, and so that's definitely helpful.
Cool. Just a couple of comments.
We got one of our superstar buddies on here tonight.
Yeah, we got a lot of
And
superstars on here.
why are you on here? No, look at
Um,
that. We got a whole lot of people who have been with us in the past that are on this webinar.
yeah, got a couple of comments, and then we can keep moving here.
Yep.
Shout out to Greg. Thank you, Greg. Greg said Alan does a great job with content and info on this business model. I
Uh-huh.
wish I was in a position to go to China directly like he does. Well, you might be able to change your mind on that here in a minute, Greg. And same thing to you, Rodney. Rodney said
Hello.
a bit intimidating going to China, but just hang on for a second here.
No, guys, I'm
I'll
not
talk
here.
about that a little bit more because we can make it non intimidating. So, anyways, why don't you continue on with your steps there, buddy, and then we can, we'll see. I'm sure after that, after you get more info, some more questions will come through and everything.
Oh yeah, you're definitely going to have more people doing it as well. All right, so once we've got our listings created, there's going to be a lot of different things we're going to do. But while we're creating our listings, some of the things we want to think about is optimizing the listings. And a little bit of this is out of order. You'll have to forgive me on that, but we'll kind of go through it. When we look at we talked a little bit about it in the previous slide, but when we look at our photographs, the photographs create demand. They need to be high quality, lifestyle shots. Some of the things I do that Amazon gives their terms of services, I watermark and I have copyrights on most of my photos. I do have a logo on just about every single photo as much as I can. I've processed it. They are very high quality. They look like slicks. Now, some people do similar things, but they're doing Photoshop versions of a product. It really doesn't look the same. It is nowhere near the same. If your photos are super good and you have a very good photographer and you spend the time to do that right, it will sell your product for you. It's worth 1,000 words, and we do offer a photo service. We have a professional photographer. Don Summers, a great buddy of mine. He's doing all my stuff. And if you're in my mastermind, I'll actually even show you how to create these marketing slick style photos that you can actually put up. And we haven't had any problems with Amazon with them yet. And we've been doing this for a little bit. So we'll do that. The logo is your brand, guys. You definitely want to look at your logo, but you don't necessarily have to start your product out with your logo on the actual product. Probably want to put it on your packaging, and you definitely want to put it in your photographs, and you want to put it on your listing, so that way you're protecting that intellectual property, because that listing, although Amazon owns it, those photographs and stuff are your product, that is your brand, and you don't want people stealing your photos and using them, especially if they're competing against you, right? So logos are important for that reason, but they don't have to be in the beginning on the products or even necessarily on the packaging. You don't have to spend time, money, and effort doing that up front when you first launch a product, because what we're trying to do is do what? Quick launch process. We're quickly launching products. The most successful Amazon sellers that use our FBA prep service are the guys that launch a lot of products real quick. They have a good process, and then they constantly optimize their packaging. They optimize their products. They optimize their listings. Notice how we're talking about that here, right? And I'm not talking about just me, because there's quite a few successful people who use our prep center who do that. Some of you may actually be on this call. And when you look and analyze how successful people launch products, they're earlier to market, they launch faster, harder, and they constantly improve their products and their packaging, their branding, their customer experience, right? So we want to get our logos. We don't necessarily have to have it on there, but one of the cool things we'll talk about is how you can make all that happen real quick when you're ordering it, and how you can make it fast and simple and not painful. Packaging is the customer experience, right? And I know a lot of people who have launched products, and I'm guilty. I've done it too. Ordered products, got them in. They're in these poly bags, and you basically put a sticker on it, send it to Amazon, and sell it. And that's all cool and fine and dandy, and it does work. And for the most part, most people really don't care. But I like to improve that over time, because the customer experience can be one of either the dollar store or Macy's. And if you can improve your customer experience with that, you can increase your price of your product. So that's also something, because as you upscale the product, you can start to raise the price, and you don't have to play the downhill game with the product as fast. But if you do that before you launch it, or if you don't use a very fast method to create decent packaging up front and then continually improve it, what you end up with is you end up being late to the show or late to market, and then somebody else is already there. You want to secure your space. You want to secure your spot. You want to secure that position on Amazon for that product, for those keywords, as fast as possible. And then once you've secured the position, you hold it by improving the product, by listening to your customers, by optimizing your listings, your packaging, your products, things of that type. So once you've bought your products and you put it on the boat and you're shipping it, and then you've created all your listings and you've done your photograph, and it lands in the United States or in the country that you're going to be doing it. It could be UK. We got a lot of people from the UK. Got a lot of people doing Amazon Mexico or Canada. Got some guys on here that I know that we're doing Amazon Japan. You know, it's once you get it in, you need to prep it for Amazon's guidelines, and Amazon has very specific guidelines that are advertised on what they need. Things like no more than 150 units per carton. Well, you know what? Shipping your products into the U.S. and packing it in a lot of smaller boxes may not make sense. It may make more sense to put a lot more products in fewer, larger boxes. But when it goes into Amazon, it has to be repackaged during their guidelines. Also, the size of the carton. You know, it can't be over 25 inches on the longest side unless it's a specialty item. How you pack the pallets, they're very specific on to do that. What kind, applying the shipping labels and how you apply them, they're specific on to what that is. And the new one for January was putting the packing lists in the boxes for the product or filling out the web-based packing form. So those are all important steps. There's a lot more to it, putting the appropriate labeling on your products, FSNKUs, which is Amazon's barcode, right? That's how they find your product in those massive warehouses and know it is yours and not somebody else's. Also choking hazards, child safety labels, warnings if the weight of the product is over 50 pounds or because it has to have like a dual lift, two-person lift or something like that on it. If you're bundling a product, it needs to be labeled so that they won't be separated, and it needs to be clearly labeled, do not separate, this is a set, right? So those kind of things need to happen. Other things that you need to happen that can happen during, whoops, sorry about that. Other things that can happen when they're being prepped is your product can be set up for retail packages. So it could come in all in a box, loose, and end up getting packaged before it goes into Amazon. And I mentioned this in a previous webinar. I do this a lot with bundles. I don't like to. The Chinese are great at copying. They're the best copycats in the world. They will copy anything that is good that can make them some money, and then they'll copy themselves copying it. I mean, when you go there, it is the funniest thing in the world. They will make copies of copies of copies of copies from high-end, super-duper. I mean, I saw a Philippe Patek watch there that looked really close to the real $150,000 Philippe Patek that's in my closet. But it wasn't that watch. I collect them. I love watches. It was so close, it was ridiculous. But then you also see one that's complete junk, too, and you can easily tell it's fake. They copy of copies. Well, they will also copy you, and they're really quickly getting smart on how to copy us on Amazon. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if some people are here on Amazon right now, maybe on some of these webinars that they're trying to learn and figure out how to make it happen. So one of the things I do that works really well is I may buy products from one or more suppliers in China, and then I'll buy boxes or packaging from a different supplier, and I'll have all that shipped to my prep center, and then we'll package it all together in its bundle or in its final product, and we'll sell it. And that way, none of them know what the final product is. They know that I buy a whole bunch of, let's say, spatulas. I'll use that as, I don't know why that came up, but that's just the first thing that popped in my head. I buy spatulas from one guy, and I buy another kitchen utensil from somebody else, and I get a box from a different company, and then I come and repackage it and brand it in my location, and then we put it together and put it up on Amazon and put it for sale. So now basically I'm not giving away my product secrets to the Chinese manufacturers or to any manufacturer. It's something I learned in IT a long time ago. You don't want to have one company do all your coding of your really, really, really super high-end, in huge demand video conferencing product, because they will steal it, recode it, and then come out and launch it against you as a competitor. So you have one of them build one thing, somebody else build something else, a different company build another piece, and then you're the only one who knows how to put it all together. So they all know they built a piece, but they don't know what it was for, and so they don't know what the end result is until you've already launched and already have attacked the market. So that's just one kind of a thing that can happen when you do FBA prep. Poly bags really common, ensuring that it's the correct poly bag, 1.5 mil. It has the right stickers on it, things like that. Doing inserts, I show people how to do that. That's part of one of the things we do in our mastermind. When we mastermind every week, Tuesday evening, we mastermind. We talk about packaging, inserts, different types of stickers, or we can create labels that can be applied to boxes or other types of packaging that are, 4-color process printed, really good looking labels that just stick on. It's real quick, real easy, and you can take a plain white box that you buy from a retail package from a Chinese supplier and create a custom branded retail package with a sticker. It's quick and easy, right? What do we call it? I call it the poor man's private label. And when I launch my products initially, I like to use that as the method, and then I increase it and optimize it and improve my packaging later on. Things like hangers, and if you've ever been to the store and you saw that cardboard thing with the poly bag and the peanuts hanging on a pegboard at the little convenience store, that's a hanger. That piece of cardboard with the hole in it, that's a hanger. That's a very viable and quick and easy way to distinguish your product and make a poly bag look like a retail package. People are used to that, and it's not too cheesy. Boxes, just getting simple boxes, plain white boxes, and applying a sticker can make it happen. And just that you can do things on whatever your budget is and add better retail package as you've already proven the product, the market, and you're starting to make some money. Because if you waste time and effort and money making the product perfect before you launch it, and then you launch it and it's not any good and it doesn't hit as well and it doesn't make you as much money as you had hoped, then you've wasted a lot of time and effort. Today's business, it's launch fast and make and improve quickly, and people are used to that. So it's kind of that's it. And something I like to tell people is work on what makes you money, not what costs you money. And the reason is because you can be busy in your work, and I did this in the beginning. Remember, we talked about being in my house and my wife kicking me out. I was packaging everything. I was testing everything. I was taking all the photographs. I was doing it all, right? I was working so hard, but I wasn't making any money. Not really. I mean, if I look at where I am today through using standard operating procedures and processes and standardization to scale and build a business, and where I was then, I wasn't making any money then. I mean, I think my first year on Amazon, I brought in $40,000, and that's good, but that was it. That was like total sales, 40 grand. So I wasn't making any money, not at all. It was part time. I had a really good job in corporate America. I worked at the phone company. I was helping them develop voice over IP and video over IP, and they paid me $280,000 my first year to do that. So I got paid very well to be in technology, but the IT, the money I was making online at that particular point in time was like motorcycle money. But what I've learned over time, what I've learned throughout my business career, is that you need to be able to scale. And as a business owner and a CEO, well, actually, let me phrase it this way, and you'll probably understand a little better. You can choose to be the leader of your company, or you can choose to be an employee of your company. If you're doing all the work, if you're labeling the packages, if you're constantly focusing your effort on the busy work, the part that costs you money, then you've created yourself a job. If you're focusing on what makes you money, on growing your business, then you understand. That's what businessmen do different than employees. They focus on how to create money, how to build their business, and not on what costs money. So that's why you talk about people, who once they finally get a virtual assistant, it changes their life in business, because prior to that, they were doing all the work. And this may be you. It was me. I understand it, and I understand that there's no way we would scale to the point we are today if it wasn't for finding good people, communicating with them, giving them an opportunity to succeed, and trusting them to do their job, but verifying they're doing it correctly. So working on what makes you money is so much more important than what costs you money. Shipping a product costs you money. Putting labels on a product costs you money. Putting it in a bag costs you money. Getting it prepped for Amazon costs you money. Taking photographs costs you money. And you may be a great photographer. I love taking pictures personally. Personally, I do. But that costs you money. Because those are all tasks. I call that the grunt work. That's the grind. That's grinding it. That's the grunt work and the things that are just tasks. And if you're doing that, you're focusing on those tasks, you're actually costing yourself more money. Because what you probably want to do, what I found that works so much better for me, and I know way too many businessmen that will agree with me, if I focus on building GDW, then what I see, the amount of growth that I see is substantially more than if I try to do all the work myself, or I focus on the grunt style work, and I'm guilty of that, guys. I'm gonna put myself out there and say I am so guilty of being in there, because for a long time as a manager, I prided myself on being general patent. I had the general patent style management. And that's basically, hey, I'm a manager. This is our team. We're a squad. We're at war. I'm a soldier. I'm your commander, but I'm not going to command you from behind a desk. I'm going to command you. I'm going to be out here like Patton with my stainless steel 45s right in the middle of the battle, and I'm going to fight and die with you. I'm not going to command you or demand you to do something while I sit in my ivory tower. So that was my management style for a long time, and it worked really good. It endears you to your people. Trust me, it was great. I love that, but it was very bad for building a business. Running a team, yes. Building a business, no. And until I learned that I needed to focus on building my company and not doing the grunt work, the busy work, my business didn't change. I got stuck. I plateaued. I could only do as much or make as much money as I had time in the day to do all the work. And the problem is there was never enough time in the day to do all the work. And because if you do good and you treat people right and you serve people well, your business grows fast, but your team and your business grows fast from a customer perspective, but your team doesn't grow fast enough to be able to keep up with it. So, ensuring that we work on what makes money and not what costs us money is extremely important. All right, so this is that spot, right, Jeff? Mr. Jeff, we are at the page.
We are at the page. Sometimes I can't unmute fast enough. The spot for what?
We're in that section where we can go some more Q&A.
Yeah, let's see.
Are you sleeping?
No.
Hopefully I'm not keeping you up too late.
Nope, just looking at the questions here, and I definitely want to make sure we get on to the time-sensitive information here before it gets too late.
Yeah.
We actually went farther in this last time, but it's fine. We have really kind of one question right now. A quick shout out to Lawrence, who went on our last China trip with us. He said, listening to Alan is a form of motivation. Thank you for that, Lawrence.
Hey, Lawrence, man, and I was glad to have you come to the event, too. I actually see several people who were at the event that are on this webinar talking about the event, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be funny.
Actually, why don't you?
By the way, guys,
we have a lot of people. We have people, asking about, China stuff like that. Why don't you go through and then talk about that, and then we can just, barrel through the questions after that. You cool with that?
talk about the launching and everything? Sure,
Yeah,
yeah,
just
no
on to
problem.
launching, and then the next piece after that, because there's really actually not very many questions at all right now. So that'll give more
All right,
people a
no
little bit
problem.
more
That'll work perfect.
fodder. You know.
That'll work perfect. So here we are. We're talking about the quick launch, right? Step one, sourcing our products, finding reliable sources of products, and picking smart shipping choices. Extremely important. The second thing we do is start building our listings on Amazon, right? Or on our sales channel, whichever sales channel that may be. Could be eBay. I mean, I have a couple of $1 million eBay stores. They do $1 million a year. Not as good as Amazon, but hey, I'm not going to throw it away. And eBay doesn't ask for as much money, which I like. That means more margin, right? So different sales channels. Then we're talking about optimizing your listing. You know, some of the things to make your listing stand out, to make it better, because we talk about making the listing here, and now we talk about the pieces that can help us get there. And then we talked a little bit about the next step in the process is prepping it, getting those products ready, making sure they're ready to go into Amazon. See, we've bought the products, we've got them on a boat, they're coming over here. In 30 days, they're going to land. They're going to be in Amazon in probably about 40, 60 days max. So what do we got 45 to 60 days to do on a brand new product that we've never ever launched before? We've got time, that much time, which isn't a lot, to do everything we're talking about right now. And then the last thing we do, then when the product hits and we've got it all prepped and we've shipped it into Amazon, we launch the products. And the way we can launch, there are quite a few different ways to launch products. And Ben, if you're stealing this, I'm gonna get you. No, actually, Ben is on here. I actually want Ben to talk about this, because he's actually extremely good at this, and I've learned so much from him. I cannot even begin to tell you how much I've learned. But there are quite a few ways we could dedicate entire webinars on any of these subjects. So I'm going to go through this pretty quick. There's a few different things. Self-promotion is the easiest, quickest, and cheapest right off the bat. Everybody has a circle of influence. Most people's circle of influence is in the hundreds of people. If you're on Facebook and you have people in your Facebook circle, you've got it. Everybody has friends. Most of us have friends. Most of us have family. Some of us may not. And if you don't, man, just click that friend button a whole lot. Uh, that's a joke. Uh, yeah, you don't. Hey, the cool part is you really don't have to have friends to launch products and make money on Amazon or any sales channel at all. So don't think you have to have that to do this. But your circle of influence, the people that you know, and doing self-promotion do help out. Generally, what you're trying to do is get a couple of few sales up front and get yourself some reviews. Like I marked here, get 20 reviews real quick, 10, 20 reviews real quick, and hopefully some sales on that. And then you can start a pay-per-click campaign. Why do we want the reviews? One thing, social proof. Amazon reviews are used for social proof. People will go into Best Buy to buy something, and they'll go look at the reviews on Amazon for that product to decide whether or not they're going to do it. It's like Yelp for physical products. And so it's really good to get those reviews because then people feel more comfortable. Also, there's a book on called The Psychology of Selling, a few other books on human psychology that talk a lot about how people act, and I call it the herd mentality. No, there's a very small subset of people who like to be the first to buy something. The majority of people will buy because other people are buying. They don't want to be the first one to buy it because they don't want to fail or have it be a problem and then feel bad because they didn't do it. They want to see if other people have gone there first so that they can feel comfortable. And it really is just a big, comfortable feeling. So getting the reviews is real important before you start advertising and marketing. You want to get these reviews up, get it going, get those things happening, and then you're going to start your pay-per-click campaign. You know what? Pay-per-click is a webinar all upon its own, and we will do that in our mastermind. There are a lot of other people who talk about it. I talked earlier about it. Go check out Brian Johnson. He's an Austin boy, super good. He's got a great set of videos that are free right now. He's got videos on a webinar. I've got videos of him doing some stuff in our mastermind in December of last year that will blow you away. And the one-on-one coaching he did for the people who were there was phenomenal. He's great. I would rather let him teach you how to do pay-per-click, but all I'm saying is get your reviews first, use self-promotion, and then begin your pay-per-click campaign. There's a lot of ways to do it. I'll be honest, the way I did it, I find my own keyword Google, I use keyword.io, I use merchant words, I've used several different keyword tools. I pick out the ones that have the highest volume. I look at the way I want to structure it, and then I begin a pay-per-click campaign. Some people do auto campaigns, and they do that. That's great, and I'm sure that it definitely is helpful. I may or may not start a product that way. Just depends. In the past, I hadn't. I have been doing some of that here recently based on some things that I've learned from Brian, and we're testing on that stuff. But for the most part, I've had some pretty good luck. My ACOS and things like that haven't been too far gone, and we're still very profitable. And then there's something I call the product launch functions. And if you're just starting out, and this is probably higher level stuff. This is stuff that you would get in our masterminds, right? So, you know, a quick set of reviews from your friends and family, doing that self-promotion, getting some reviews. You can do that in Facebook. It's just that simple. And then doing a pay-per-click campaign, that's not too far advanced. If you think that's too far advanced, then you're making it too hard. It's not. And there's plenty of places to get help to set that up. It's only challenging the first time because you haven't done it. And then once you've done it a few times, it becomes very simple, and you can repeat it and do it over and over and over again. And we have people on this webinar right now that I know that do that and can do it because I work with them. So if you're just starting out, you're probably going to also look at using like a launch partner, like a Viral Launch. Casey Gauss over at Viral Launch is a great guy. Good person, very helpful, does a lot of good for a lot of people. And actually, he just posted out some really cool stuff he found out about the latest update on Amazon, and some great things that he found out. You might use a review kick, Thomason. You may do some things like that to help you go. If you're a more advanced seller, if you've been around for a while, you may be establishing your own launch programs. You may be getting, I know that my early products were filled by merchant because most of it was food, and Amazon doesn't do perishable food very well at all. I mean, canned goods that last 47 years and don't care if they're in the hot warehouse work there, but fresh stuff doesn't. And I sold fresh food on Amazon. And so it isn't shelf stable, and I still do. I sell chocolate, and it's not shelf stable, and it doesn't go into Amazon. So we do fulfilled by merchant, and when we do fulfilled by merchant, I get all the customer information, including their Amazon Marketplace email. Not, I don't get their personal email, but I do get their Amazon Marketplace email. And even today, FBA, you can still get all the customer information. You just don't get their email address. There are ways to get the email address. By far, they're available out there. Most people have the average is 4 email addresses per person in the United States, or maybe that's global. I'd have to double check that one, but I know the average was 4, and so it's not very hard to do that and get the customer's information if you have their phone number, their address, and their name. It's actually really easy to get that information. So you can start to take your customer base, the people who've bought from you, and then what I am doing is asking them to join thanking them for being a customer and asking them to join our review club. By the way, you don't need their personal email address to do this. You can do this through the Amazon email address. There is nothing wrong in Amazon's mind with thanking the customer, giving them an update, and asking them to join the review club as long as you don't ask them to buy products off of Amazon. And I probably wouldn't want to send out the 50,000 customers that I have in one shot. They would get really mad at me and probably shut me down. But if you're just doing onesie twosies and you're using maybe something like Feedback Genius or something, an autoresponder to do that, that works really well. And the reason I do that is because we talk about branding, and I wrote a blog, or actually I posted on the Facebook group the difference between branding, marketing, and sales, because they are different. If to develop a brand, you have to take mind share away from to the customer. Mind share. That means when people think of Coca-Cola has mind share because everybody in the world knows who Coca-Cola is. We all know what that can looks like. We know what that brand and that logo looks like. We know the jingles at Christmas, and we can't wait for the Christmas ads to come out. Everybody knows that soup is good food because Campbell's told us that in the U.S. We all know the Golden Arches because McDonald's created that brand and then pounded it down our throat using eBay. We're using advertising that was meant to do only one thing: create that brand and own mind share. I mean, you can akin it to subliminal messaging. It costs a lot of money to build and take mind share and build a brand. But other ways you can do it are by going above and beyond for your customers. Jeff, what's the name of that shoe company, the online shoe company that just has, they have the best customer service in the world?
That would be my good friend over at Tony Shea's company, Zappos.
Yep, that's it, Zappos. And so they have built this brand over time by having the absolute best customer service in the world. And since we don't manage the customer service aspect as much as you think you do, you really don't. On Amazon, Amazon dictates what you do more than anything else in that space. That's a little bit more of a challenge. Amazon is known for its customer service, not us. When people buy from us on Amazon, they, in their mind, are buying from Amazon, not from you or from our brand. To help us get mind share and to build that brand, and this is high level, super high level stuff, guys. This is the kind of things we work on in our year-end master planning when the $1 Million Club gets together, and we have people that are special invite only. You can't get into this. You can't buy your way in. You have to be invited, and you have to meet minimum requirements to get in. But these are the things we talk about how do we really get that fan? How do we build fanatics out of our brand in Amazon? And the way I looked at it, and one of my techniques is that I'm going to give them, I want to give them the first opportunity for that freebie, for that review, for that stuff. Those are the things that over time, as your business builds, and you may not be able to do that today, and you may not be able to do that tomorrow, but eventually as your business gets that big and you have this kind of customer base, you can start to look at these type of things to help you make your business grow. Because long term, the goal is to not have Amazon be your only source of revenue in your business, to build an off Amazon brand, because that is extremely valuable, and that creates long-term security and massive wealth. And again, you may not want that, but these are kind of the things that we get into when we go into high-end stuff. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. There's some of you may know, may not know. I go to China 3 times a year now. I don't use Alibaba at all, actually, unless I'm helping somebody else, one of our team or one of the people in the family who are in our business family here that asks for help and wants me to look at something for them. I may do that, but I don't use it anymore. I go to Amazon. I go to China at least 3 times a year. That's the way we have it scheduled right now. It's generally based on the buying seasons. There's a specific reason I go on the dates that I go. Going earlier, not a benefit. Going later is detrimental. So it's basically a seasonal-based approach. Works extremely well. And what I've done is start taking people with me. And I take them with me so that I can take them step by step through the process. See, you've just been on this webinar where I talked about the process, right? And it's cool. And I hope that you guys got massive value out of it. And I hope that you copycats are copying it so that you can go out there and copy it. But there's nothing like going one-on-one while I hold your hand and take you through those steps, every single one of them from beginning to end. And so I go to China and I invite people to come with me, and it's an all-inclusive deal, except for the travel. Everything else is included. And we will work. This is a working trip. This is not a party. Not anymore. I did that stuff when I was younger, and yeah, I like to have fun. And trust me, we will have fun. But the way we've scheduled it, and because of input from previous groups that have gone with us, we've really restructured this and refined it to where it's going to be more like my year-end mastermind. It's going to be more of a working deal here. We're going to go here for a week, and we're going to work every single day from morning to night. And we're going to go through these processes together. And so instead of just watching it on this webinar and going, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool, did I get that tidbit, and do I really understand it? And then going out there and trying to suffer through figuring it out on your own and going, gee, was that really what he was talking about? And I don't understand this part or that part or another, or going out to China and trying to wing it on your own. What I do is I offer you to go to China with me, and we'll go there, and the first day we're going to go and we're going to walk the market. I'm going to show you how to find products. I'm going to show you how to mine for diamonds, because too many people go to the market, and I can guarantee you half the people well, actually most of the people that probably went that are currently on this webinar right now who went to the last China trip with us will tell you I let them run their first day because they were like all gung ho, and they ran hard, and they were frustrated because they may not have gotten as much success as they thought they were going to get. And then the second day we went out and I showed them how to do it, and and what they realized was that they were getting in a hurry and they were running around chasing, I call it chasing shiny things, and it's real easy to do because I thought I needed to see this entire market the very first time I went to. But what I realized is, one, it's too big. There's no way you can see it all in a week. There's no way you can see it all in a month. It's huge. There's everything there from all over China. And we'll go to the market, and I'll walk you through the market, and we'll go store by store, and I will show you how to tell the difference between a sales agent or a broker, somebody who's not the manufacturer, an actual manufacturing company. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to show it to you. So that way, not only am I telling you, I'm going to show you. Then I'm going to show you how to find those diamonds in the rough, because I'm not running around looking for the shiny things. I slow down. I take my time, how to make that happen. We're going to show you how to find those diamonds. We're going to show you how you can create bundles and other opportunities and create whole new products out of very simple, inexpensive products that allow you to take something that may be super inexpensive but create something that fits a better price model with a better margin and a better chance of selling, and a little bit more difficult for people to copy. I'm going to take you through how to place the orders and hold your hand through that entire process. And we're going to mastermind. So a lot of these things, like how to launch, how to find our keywords, how to determine if those products are good, looking for the gaps in the market, we're going to go through that. We're going to go through that in the very first day. And then we're going to go through it again, because I want to make sure you understand it, and I'm going to help you through that. And I'm going to show you with products that we find in the market. So we will actually go through and look at products that I found while I was sourcing with you guys. It'll be real simple. So as I take you out and as we source, I'm going to find products, and then we'll do what we need to do with those products, and I'll come back and show you how I look at those products and how I determine whether or not those products are good. And then I'll show you how I determine how many I need to order in order to have a successful launch. And then I'll show you how to place the order, and I'll show you how to itemize and document it, and I'll show you from that perspective. Then what's really cool is since I have a freight and logistics company, we have a warehouse in China, and I have my partners there, and we will warehouse your products, we'll aggregate your products, we will inspect your products, and we will ship your products, and we will help you with packaging, we help you with FBA prep, and we will help you get it into Amazon. And for people who go on the China super sourcing trip, they get the steepest discount out of anybody. No website, no Facebook group that promotes us or lets people know about us gets the type of discounts that people who go with us get. And so we definitely will help you with that part, and with the prepping and everything else. So you're going to be able to get the end-to-end service. You're going to be able to go find your products, source your products, feel good that you've done a good job, know that there's a gap in the market, know that there's market potential, know that that product has potential to do it, know that you've probably ordered enough to launch the product successfully, and determine whether or not it's going to be one of those really good products or whether it's just going to be an okay product, and be able to make those reorders. We're going to help you with reordering. We're basically going to turn into your sales agent in China. So once you've ordered that product through us and you've come and done that, guess what happens when you need to reorder? You don't have to go through this crazy process anymore. You just give us a call and you say, hey, I need to order 5,000 more of this product. And we'll be like, yep, no problem. And then within the day, we can have the answer back to you, when it can be shipped, when they'll have it done. They already know what's up. We'll teach you how to customize products on the spot. I said on the spot. For those of you who may not have gotten that one, we were customizing products as we bought them last time. I took people who went with me last time, and we customized products on the spot in the store and placed the orders and had them done within like an hour. And we'll help you learn how to do that. We'll also go over something, and I went over this yesterday, and I forgot to go over it today, but we'll go over the 80-20 rule in business and the law of averages. The law of averages states that only so many products are going to be successful, right? And generally in business, they like to use something called the 80-20 rule. Investors, people who invest in other companies, venture capital firms. I raised a lot of money in voice over IP and video in tech companies during my career. And the venture capitalists use mathematics. They determine, using the law of averages, roughly what will happen and how successful they're going to be. And generally, we'll use this example. If a venture capital firm has $100 million, they're not going to invest it all in one product or one company. They will divide it up. They're generally going to divide it between 10 to 20 companies, but I'm going to use 10 because the math is easy. And it really is easy. And from all the venture capitalists that I've worked with, from Austin Ventures to firms in Boston to, let me think, oh yeah, Charles Barkley gave me $6 million for a company called Wall IP Communication. He invested in as a partial opener. He also did a keynote speech for me in Las Vegas, Nevada, with a 40 by 40 booth that we set up there. So I've done this a little bit, and what happens is this. They'll take $100 million and they'll invest it in, or they'll take $10 million and invest in 10 companies, $1 million per company. 3 of those companies are going to fail outright, so they lose $3 million. 2 of those companies are going to succeed extremely heavily. They're going to 20x and 40x their money. So for out of the $10 million they invested, $2 million of it turned into $40 million. Then the 5 remaining companies that they invested $1 million in all basically slowly churn along, never really double or triple X the money, and they may pay back the money over time, but they're not good investments. What I've found, and now, I mean, I think we're now at about 270 SKUs, 270 SKUs now, and my goal is to be at 400. So at 270 SKUs, what I've found with this, with having launched this many products, is that basically the law of averages and that basic principle is really close to what happens in Amazon. Now you also have conversion ratios and things like that, and as you get more experience, you get a little bit better, right? So you may not do 2 out of 10, you may do 3 out of 10, or you may do 4 out of 10. But still, the law of averages is going to apply. So if you spend all your venture capital on one product, the law, your odds of that product doing it and changing your life is very small. But if you launch 10 products, the odds are that at least 2 of them, and if you follow a proven process, one that works, the odds is that at least a couple of them are going to do really, really well. A few of them are going to be duds. And a good chunk of them, probably half, are going to be ones that just churn along and they pay you back your investment over time. You know, they're the ones that pay the bills, but the ones that 20x and 40x your money, those are the ones that buy you airplanes. So this China trip is me helping you change your life. This is me and my team holding your hand and walking you through this step by step by step. Nobody else can walk you through all the steps from beginning to end. Other people can offer small pieces of it. They may do a Canton Fair, or they may do how to launch a product, or they may have an FBA prep group, or they may have a lot of different things. And a lot of them are really good, and I would even fair to say some of them are better than I am in many ways. But very few of them have end-to-end business that can help you find the product, source the product, customize the product, package the product, ship the product, deal with the duties, Customs and Border Patrol, get it into Amazon, and help you launch the product. That's end to end. And you know, our long-term goal is to become your sourcing agent and be able to help you through it, because now you can focus on the things that build your business, the things that are important to your success. The grunt work parts aren't that, but and that's what we do. We help you through all of those pieces. So you know, GDW and EIC are there to help you go through that whole process, and not just by holding webinars. Ask any of the people who are on this right now. I mean, if any of them want to tell people how often we've done a webinar since we've gotten back. From the last trip we've gotten back, we've had a webinar every single Tuesday, pretty much since we got back. Except I think maybe for that first week, because I came back jet lagged hard that first week. That was a hard one. But I think we've done one every week, and we're going over this same stuff. We're going over it in more detail. I open up the veils a little bit and actually have been showing my products. I've showed ideas on how to do the packaging. I've showed a lot of different stuff. I've had Casey Gauss's Viral Launch on. Next Tuesday we have Brian Johnson going over pay-per-click with our team. You know, I'm bringing in the guys that I know, that I trust, that I have great relationships with, to come and help you build your business, because that's our goal. That's what we want to do. And so our trip that we have, which the last one of this year, is in July. It's at the end of July. It's the 27th through the 4th. That last trip of the year is going to be, the 27th of July through August 4th. It includes travel concierge, so we'll basically help you with finding your travel, help answer any of those questions you need about visas and getting that, help you with the hotel, help you with transportation from the airport to the hotel, help you with all that stuff. It does include all the hotel accommodations in a very nice, I would say pretty close to a 4-star hotel, especially there. Extremely convenient to the market. Extremely convenient to the market. It includes a 4G China SIM card, and this is thanks to the people who were at the last trip with us. They gave us this. For the first time I've gone there, I had poor internet in the hotel. Usually the hotel internet was extremely good for us, so I was surprised that we had such a poor experience. And it wasn't just me; it was consistent across the board. But 4G worked really well. So what we're going to do is buy 4G SIM cards with 2 gigs of data, and we'll provide that to everyone. So make sure your phone is unlocked to be able to accept a SIM card if you're coming. for those of you who may be coming who have not done that. That's something also we'll do. We'll do a pre-webinar before we go that'll go over everything you need to get. The shopping guidebooks, which are available, we'll give you one of those out of the hotel and some other information that'll help you along the lines. It'll give you a rough idea of what the market looks like. Most of that available is pretty easy to get. We're going to provide each individual person with their own translator that will help translate for you and negotiate on your behalf. So, you know, I do know of other people who do some similar trips, and generally it's a shared translator or even in some cases none at all. And although there are a lot of people who speak some broken English, the challenge is still communication, and it's always better to have someone who can communicate in a common language. In our trip, it works out very, very well. And having one of your own and being able to go out on your own and do this allows you to make sure that, you know, your product that you find that you source, that somebody else isn't going to be sourcing exactly the same product in exactly the same color from exactly the same store, which is a bad thing that happens when you go in those big group things where they don't give you your own individual translator. We're going to do masterminds every single day. We're going to go over all these processes every day. So first thing in the morning, we'll all eat together. All the meals, by the way, are included, as you can see, and so is all the group transportations. But every single day, we'll eat together in the morning. We'll have morning breakfast, just kind of run over what the plans for that day are, make sure that everybody's on track, everybody's taken care of, and nobody's in trouble, and help anybody that needs to help out. We will, you'll go out into the market, execute the plans that we've already determined, the things that we've helped you with, go through that and make those things happen. Also, I'll be doing office hours every single day, so I will make myself available to people who register on my calendar for that time, and they will be able to register to have one-on-one time with me throughout the day. So in the mornings, I'm with you. In the daytimes, I'm either walking the whole group, teaching you guys, or I'm opening myself up for one-on-one time through our office hours. And then in the evening, basically the evening starts pretty early. They start packing up the shops around 4:30, 5 o'clock. So by 5 o'clock, it's pretty much the end of the day. And trust me, your feet will be tired. It'll be the end of the day. So 5 o'clock we get back together, and we're all going to be having meals in the conference room for most nights. Although I do have some special plans and some special events that are planned. We're going to do some really cool stuff together that's happening. But most of the nights we are going to meet together while we're having dinner, and we're going to pull out the laptops, and we're going to pull out the projector, and we're going to go through this stuff. We're going to actually pull out the laptop and start looking at how we search for keywords. We're going to start going over Amazon and looking at the products and using Jungle Scout and determining if those products are good. And you can do yours privately, but I'm going to do it so that you guys can see how we do it, and that way we can ask questions, and everybody will be able to see that and see how it's done. And so we're going to go over masterminds on launching. We're going to go over masterminds on everything that we need to do to get things happening. And this is a pretty good, this is step by step, guys. I'm going to hold your hand the whole way. And when we're done with this trip, we're not done, because you become part of the mastermind for GDW. And I have a private secret mastermind Facebook group that only people who go on trips or who come to our masterminds are there. All our year-end masterminds, all the people in the $1 Million Club for GDW are in this Facebook group. They may or may not be in the main Facebook group, but they're all in this one, and we work together and help each other out. And every week I do a webinar with everybody, and again, this week's webinar, we're going to bring in Brian Johnson, and we're going to go over pay-per-click, and you're going to be able to ask him questions with people in the group and be able to get help on things that you may need for launching your products and getting your pay-per-click campaigns ready. And I do this in the order that you need to do it to launch your products. So as you can see, it's a step-by-step serial and systematic process with standard operating procedures to help you get there. So we got this trip coming up. We launched it only about, well, we marketed it for about a week, and we did an early bird launch, and the early bird sold out in a day, uh, almost one webinar. Within one webinar, over half of it was sold out, and by that weekend, the VIP early bird day was sold out, and we had a ton of people asking for more. So we kept thinking, how can we do this? We want to make sure. I mean, I don't want to bring 40 people into some early bird day and not have them have the type of time that I want them to have, not get the value out of that day. Basically, that early bird day is you get to come in a day early and spend the day with me and get a day's head start over everybody else who's coming. So you get to come in. So these first 10 people are going to come in that first day, and they're going to get to go over everything that we've talked about, the kind of like that step one, sourcing the product component. They're going to get that before everybody else who shows up on the 27th. They're going to get to go over how to recognize the market, recognize and how to search Amazon, how to determine whether there's a gap, whether it makes sense to jump into that product, how much product to sell, how are they going to buy it, how to negotiate it, how to get it sold, how all that happens before everybody else. And with the demand, it was just insane. We had 3 times the number of people who we had set the level at, 10. We had 3 times that asking us to get in. So I thought, how can we do this and make it so that it works and so that it can be happy? So I went to the guys in the $1 Million Club, and I talked to a couple of them that, one, have been on the trip with me before, and 2, know how to launch products, and 3, have businesses that are $1 million or more a year that have monthly revenue that meets minimum criteria and that I can trust to understand the launch process, that they that they do it. They're part of my main mastermind group, and I asked them to come in. And so what we did was we set it up where we're going to get them in, and I'm going to bring them in, and they're going to help as well. So now you're not only going to get my time, but you're going to get other sellers who are multi-million-dollar Amazon sellers as expert guests. So that way we can still keep that person to expert value the same. So now we can open it up for 10 more people. And so that's basically what we've done, is we've opened it up for 10 more people. I think that number's off, Jeff. I did not change it.
It's actually 4 now, because we
Yeah,
did
it
this
was.
yesterday.
It was.
So
I know, because yesterday at noon we did a webinar for people who were in the UK and in a different time zone. We wanted to be able to hit their time zone, and we had 9 then, and we had, I don't know how many people signed up then. So we have how many?
we have four left right now.
All right, so we have 4 left, early bird signups. If you sign up for that, that's gonna give you the opportunity to come in. You're gonna get an email that talks about the VIP pre-day. You're gonna come in a day ahead of everybody else. We're gonna spend the day together. Pretty much, we're gonna go through everything that we talked about doing for everybody else, and you're gonna get out there ahead of everybody else and be able to get it moving. But you're also gonna get to hang out not just with me and spend that time going over these things as well. We're gonna go and walk through the market together. We're going to go and do that. And I will do that with everybody, but it's going to be less people. So it'll be a lot better. And I'm going to have the help there with our special guests that are going to come and also be able to help you out. So you're going to be able to be with the guests. You're going to be able to be with me. And I think, we're trying to keep it at 1 to 10 or lower. So, because I can take 10 people through the market, and it's fairly easily manageable, and everybody can kind of see what's happening. More than that, it gets a little dicey, and that's why we want to bring in some expert guests. I also know that these guests launch in a little bit different method. They have some really cool methods. They're doing some stuff that's killing it, and I'm actually going to ask them to get up and talk about their experience and the special sauce that they've got in there and how they're really killing it. You know, and so you're going to get to experience that as well. And so if you sign up now for these last 4 spots, that's going to really, you know, cap that part of this trip, and all the early birds will be done, and then everybody else will be pretty much coming in the 27th through the 4th, and make that happen. But this is definitely, guys, for those of you that know me, that have followed my body of work, that have seen the webinars, that have looked at my videos, you know, I have a mission. You know, I could live off the income from my e-commerce sales right now. I can live comfortably on my e-commerce sales uh, revenue, right? Those of you that are in this business know that these monsters are hungry and they want to be fed. So, you know, just because people say they do a whole lot of money up top doesn't mean they're profitable. We're going to talk about profit a lot, and we're going to talk about the difference between no profit and profit and things like that. But this event is because I have a personal mission, and my goal, my mission, the thing that drives me. You know, if we don't have a goal in life, if we don't have something that makes it worth going through the pain, because business is sacrifice, and building something big will require sacrifice. Building something small requires small sacrifice. Building anything worthwhile in your life requires sacrifice. You know, raising good kids requires sacrifice. You can just go example over example. And I know I posted in our Facebook group some great stuff by Steve Jobs, who pretty much hung it all out there. And I am 100% in agreement with him. If you aren't willing, if you don't have something that drives you so hard that when you get knocked down, you'll get back up, then when it gets tough, and it will get tough, you'll quit. And so, you know, I'm ADD, and anybody who knows you will tell you that I'm kind of ADD. I can get distracted. When I'm focused, I'm like a laser, but I can get distracted pretty easy. And so, you know, when I built my e-commerce business, and I had, you know, when I reached like $3 million, and I'm, you know, I'm buying an airplane, and you know, I got cars and a motorcycle and a ranch, and I'm sitting here going, you know, what else is there? You know, you think you've arrived, and part of you gets kind of cocky, and you start to think that you're the shit. Pardon the French, but you start to kind of think that you're bigger than that, and you get humbled real quick. And trust me, it does happen. It gets knocked down. I've talked about Amazon shutting off $1 million in revenue in one day, just shutting it off on one of my products. It's going to happen. So for me, I need that motivation. I need the things that are going to keep me going. And, you know, I just went ADD on you guys on a little bit on that one. Because what I'm talking about is motivation, and something that motivates you to go through it and work hard and do the grind and make it happen. Because if you can find the motivation, you can make it happen. For me, right now, my motivation is to help 1,000 of you get into my $1 million club, to become free of working for somebody else, to become free to make your own decisions with your own company, with your own brand, with your own products. That's my goal, and we're reaching thousands of people, and right now we're helping hundreds of people, and if we keep moving at the rate, our growth rate, and the people that are coming that get this help it's amazing. It's insane, and it just drives me. And the people who come back and they tell us how successful they become, and they thank us publicly and tell other people because of coming to one of Alan's masterminds, because of this event, my life has changed. Because now I don't have to work for somebody else. I just quit. I put in my notice. I've been able to make it. You know, getting those kind of and you know, the public. I don't. You know, we all try to get social proof. Even we have to show social proof. You know, of what's up. But it's the private ones, when somebody texts me and says, "Man, you've changed my life," and I'll forever be grateful for that. You know, that's the kind of stuff that makes it worthwhile. And so for me, I'm trying to change 1,000 people's lives, and so that drives me, and that's why I do this. You know, that's my goal. At the same time, I'm building a company called GDW, which is a FBA prep facility, and GDW has had well, let's just put it this year. It started April of last year, and its first year it only did $80,000. So in its first 8 months, it did $10,000 a month, and I started it with $0 and advertising in a couple of Facebook groups, and that was it. But in the last year, we've grown, and then the number was thousands of percent. By the end of this year, we'll be a $2 million top line revenue company. By the end of next year, it'll be five. And so, and the way I'm building that company is by helping other people build their companies, because that's the way I believe this should happen. So I'll help you build your company, but I know that by helping you, a lot of you are going to help me too. It's a win-win strategy. It's the best way to build relationships. It's the best way to build businesses. It's the best way to work together to create something better than any one of us could have done independently. So I take people to China. I help them build their businesses, and at the same time, it helps me build mine. Everybody wins, and that's the best business there is. So I hope to see you guys there. Jeff, you got any questions? I mean, I'd definitely like to open it up and help anybody who needs help out. Hopefully I didn't miss anything.
Well, the only thing, yeah, we do have a few questions. The only thing I was going to add is that we just want to let people know that after this July trip, we're dramatically raising the
Oh,
price for the trip. So, if they
yeah.
kind of want to
Yeah.
get in on the, early bird version from a price point of view as well, because, the demand has just gotten so high, and we actually, ironically, we have coaches too, and we have some business coaches that are like, man, you guys are just absolutely not
Yeah.
charging enough for the unbelievable value, life changing value, business altering value that you're giving these people on the trips. It's just like ridiculous what we're charging for them. So, you should listen to your mentors and listen to your coaches. So, we're doing that. So we're going to, be raising the price. So just wanted to put that in because, it's a good opportunity to, if there's any way you can make it in July, um, you'll be able to go, and it's significantly less expensive than what we're going to be bumping it up to.
Yeah, I completely forgot. I mean, you know what? And that call was today.
Yeah.
That call was with a mentor of ours who, and I'll just throw this out. His his Facebook group dwarfs most of the others in our space substantially, in the 10x range. Um, we're being told by one of the biggest business coaches out there that we're giving way too much value for way too little money. And I told him I didn't care about the money. It wasn't what that was about. But he asked me some simple questions, and Jeff mentioned it. And he said, well, what's the demand like? And I said, well, we're having more demand than we have the ability to handle it and the space. And he said, that's because you're too cheap. And that, to slow it. So some of you who've still on Amazon may have heard it. If you want to slow it down so you don't run out of stock before you restock, raise the price. Well, he's kind of giving us that thing. He says, we need to raise the price, and he thinks that we're going to be pleasantly surprised. So this is the last China trip at this price. After this, we will be having to raise it, and that will probably include the masterminds in the $1 Million Club as well. So we want to let you guys know that this is it, man. You need to come now. Come now. Let's change it. We're not just throwing a webinar asking you for money and then running. We're holding your hand. We're your partner in more ways than one. We're your sourcing partner. We're your shipping partner. We're your training partner. We're your prepping and partner. We are partners with you in so many ways that if our whole goal is to help you succeed, because the more you succeed, the more we succeed. You see how it can't be selfish if we're helping you succeed to help us succeed, and we don't want to do this without helping you move forwards. And I will, and ask anybody. I mean, I will definitely put as much time in as necessary to make it happen, because all I want to do is see you make it. I want to see you in the $1 Million Club, and you can do that in a very short period of time.
Awesome. So questions. Let's see. All right. Amran, I hope I'm saying his name right. Amran or Amron. Do you have many brands under one Amazon account, or can you have the multiple Amazon accounts?
Well, okay, so you can have multiple Amazon accounts if you own multiple businesses. That's kind of the key there. You could go and you can ask Amazon permission to have a second Amazon store under a single business, but you got to have a really good reason. You got to go through a process, and they decline most of the time. But businesses are separate entities, and they're treated individually, and you can own all of them. So it isn't a big deal to have more than one Amazon store. I would say this, though. You don't want Amazon doesn't want you opening a bunch of stores and selling the exact same thing in each store. That's a no-no. I don't do that. I wouldn't do that. But I was a niche guy for a long time, and again, those of you who've watched any of my other material or checked it out know that I drove niches real hard. So I would build a single store for a single niche, and then create multiple products within that niche on that store. And so that's that I still kind of do some similar stuff to that. Not as much anymore, because I did. And eBay, your store means something. Your store actually has a name and a value. In other places, your store has value. Online, your own e-commerce store, that name, that has value. On eBay, on Amazon, I apologize. On Amazon, people go to Amazon, they go to the first page. They go to that top bar, and they put in a search term, and a whole bunch of stuff comes up. Listings, people's listings from all different companies, and they don't go looking for your business. They look at the picture, they look at the title, they look at the price, they click, they buy. And they may look at the reviews, apologize, and they may look at the reviews as well. Most of them are smart, they're going to look at the reviews. If they look over and they see that you have 20, 30, 40 reviews, definitely a better chance, more clicks. They see you got 1,000 reviews and you dominate the market, heck, you're probably going to get all the business, right? So, yeah, you can do that, but the way I do it is by having more than one business. Hope that helps answer your question.
Cool.
Was it good? That was a pretty good question. Nobody's asked me that in a while.
Yeah, I know. I was actually just thinking the same thing. That's the thing. It's been like 3 months since somebody asked that question.
It's a good one.
Cool. So David, hey David, what is the minimum amount of money would you say that someone needs to have set aside in order to be able to get in and do this successfully?
That's a really good question. I have that question yesterday, and that's going to really depend on your budget. I mean, we have people who came with us, and their total spend budget was like $8,000, and that's what they did. And they have products that are good products. They're going to do very well, and I feel very confident in that. I know the first time I went, I think I spent. I mean, I didn't spend that much the very first time. I was probably like everybody else, a little bit timid, a little bit not understanding, but I got it real quick. Uh, I look at it like this: it's not how much money I'm spending; it's how many products I'm buying. I'll set a budget for myself, but my budget may be different than yours, and your budget may be different than mine. We had a person come. We'll just talk about the people who won the last one. We've had people that went in the last one that spent a couple $1,000s, and they did not get 10 products to launch. We've had people who spent $8,000 and have like 27 products to launch. And we're not talking about 1 or 2 or 10 units. We're talking about 300, 500, 1,000, 2,000 units, just depending on what they were going to get. You can find, again, that's part of the secret on going there and walking through the store and letting me show you how to create bundles out of different things, how to create and find those products and look for those diamonds in the rough. Because you can find products there anywhere from, pennies, and I think Inga talked the day before. I don't remember what was it, yesterday, the day before.
Yeah, yeah.
Inga from Norway, who was with us, he talked about it. How he got one product for 17 cents a unit, and that's super cheap. I mean, how do you launch? And it's selling for $11 on Amazon. It costs them 17 cents. Do the math. Amazon takes pick, pack, and ship and shipping charges. Let's say they take $5 out of $11.99, $12. That leaves $7 left. It costs him 17 cents. He pays for a bag, a label, a sticker, shipping, and everything else. Let's say he's got $2 in the product total in Amazon and selling. Amazon takes their 5, that's $7 out of 12. That means he's profiting $5 a unit, and I want you guys to do some math and think about this later. 5 products a day, making $5 profit each, selling 5 units in 5 different categories. 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. That's a day. Real small products add up to real large money in a real short period of time. But then we can take those same products and we can bundle them up. We can do multi-packs. We can do other things. We could probably get his average sale price up from $12 to getting it into the $20, $25 range. And he's got $4 in a $25 product. So it's not hard to do that. But there's also, I'm gonna actually, Jeff, I told you about the 4-wheel drive hoverboard, right?
Yep.
Or the off-road hoverboard.
Yes, sir.
And those of you who know the hoverboard probably have seen it. It's that thing you stand on with wheels and you lean forwards and it goes forwards, you lean backwards, it goes backwards, and it's got the self-balancing deal. Well, they got a big one that's like a Segway. It's got huge 4x4 tires on it, like a not a dirt bike.
So it's like a redneck hoverboard.
Yeah, exactly. It's a redneck hoverboard. And I have a ranch in the middle of redneck Texas. Where else should somebody get that? They're $900 wholesale. Manufacturer. That's not wholesale. That's $900 from the manufacturer. That means wholesale on this in the U.S. is $1,800. It means retail needs to be $3,600. So it's a $3,600 product. You can buy them there. So the price ranges in products where we go is from the super cheap to the super expensive and everything in between. I mean, they have, matter of fact, the jewelry manufacturing capital of the world is in Yiwu. They have one of the largest sock manufacturing facilities. There's a lot of textiles, a lot of stainless steel manufacturers, aluminum manufacturers. There's solar panels, electronics. 80% of the world's Christmas ornaments are manufactured and sold out of the Yiwu market. 80% of the world, not 80% of the U.S. or 80% of the entire world are bought and sold out of the Yiwu market, and we're going in Q4. By the way, guys, the July-August trip, based on shipping and all the work we have to do to get it up, sets you up to have products launching and moving in Q4. Launching a product in Q4 and getting that kind of velocity is huge. The volume of sales and the launches don't even have to be super hard because the people are in a buying frenzy. It is going to be huge. So that's why we go in July, because we finish in August, we get our product landed in September, it's in Amazon and selling in October, the beginning of Q4, October, November, December. That's why we plan our dates the way we do. That's why we don't do other dates, because we plan based on buying seasons. Whenever fall comes, we're there for fall. when it's winter time buying, we're there. This is the winter season buying is now. We do the buying seasons based on that. So this is the right time to go. The market has everything. There's 700,000 products. Anyway, I jumped on a soapbox going, having a good time about that market. But the great question. Any other good questions, Jeff?
Yeah, well, I want to first give a quick shout out to a couple people. One person, I can't see what their name is, but Jacob is going on the trip with us. Jacob signed up, so we're definitely notching down on that VIP as well. That's down to 3 or less now. So, but definitely want to give out the one who can see their name right now, Jacob, and looking forward to having you, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
definitely, man. It'll be an
And
exciting time.
speaking of the next trip, Terry Johnson, really quick, just wanted to say hi. Can't wait for the next trip. Hi, Terry. See you there.
Hey,
Awesome.
Terry. You guys are like gung ho, man. We started this process a little early. We didn't want to start booking tickets for the event, you know, 4 weeks in advance because that doesn't give people time to plan, and it really doesn't give us time to help you with the pre-trip webinars and things like that we're doing. So we started a little earlier this time, and you guys that jumped in the very beginning, man, you guys are gung ho. I think this is going to be the best group of people that we've ever had, and I'm excited to see all you guys coming.
Cool. All right. So, Ellen. Hi, Ellen. Um, First, a little bit of kudos. Great stuff. Validates what I've learned. What review services have people used that return good results? My niche is kitchen and outdoor living products.
Well, there's a lot of different review services out there. I mean, it depends on, who have you used. That's probably a better question to put like in the Facebook group where there's thousands of people who are going to be able to give you their experiences, but you can kind of accumulate that and get that information. I'm, I like to work with people that I trust, and I like to build relationships long term. And so, because, I mean, you can tell, what am I talking about? We're talking about building relationships. We're talking about win-win. We're talking about working together and partnering, right? Well, I truly believe that. And, my partners in China will tell you that as well. It's kind of weird. The Chinese value that as well. It's actually the number one value there is relationships. Um, so I feel the same way. And so when I find people that I trust, um, that's words when they say something, their words mean something. They don't double talk. They don't yeah, well, kind of, maybe. They don't say they're going to do something and then not do it. When I find people that I can trust, that are genuine, honest, hardworking, that have similar values that I do, I tend to want to work with those people. And so, for me, if I'm doing a big launch, I'll recommend Casey over at Viral Launch. If I'm doing a blog, if I want to launch into a blog, I'm looking for influencers online. I'm probably going to go to Thomason. Because I've had good experience, and I know other people that have had good experiences there. And so it just depends on what's happening and how I want to launch. We launch products with direct Facebook marketing straight into Amazon ads or Amazon listings ads. I don't know why I said that. So there are so many different ways to do that. We're going to go in more depth on launch strategies when we look at what the market tells us that product that you're looking at needs from a launching perspective. So a lot of times when we gather the data, we'll be able to determine that, and that's something we'll go over at the event. And those of you who don't come to the event, hopefully you'll make the mastermind in December, or you'll be qualified for the mastermind in December, because I know we're going to be going over that in depth there as well. But yeah, I mean, use what feels good for you, but let the product tell you what it needs. When you do your research online and the research tells you what's happening, and it gives you that data. Says that you have, let's say for example this. Say you're trying to get mid position on page one, and that means you need and Jungle Scout's telling you that's 300 sales a month, right? And real simple math in your head, 30 days in a month, that's 10 sales a day, right? So in order to take that position away from that person, you need to sell more than 10, don't you? So now, knowing that I have to sell more than 10 a day, I can determine what kind of launch I need to do to make that happen, right? So that's basically it. In a high level, that's exactly how you do it. No, it's that simple. If you do that, then you can determine what launch makes sense. Now, again, budgets have a lot to do with that too. You may not have a budget that allows you to give away $2,000 worth of product to get ranking and kill it. So you're going to do better on keywords than everybody else. You're going to do better in other ways, and you're going to do that friends and family, and you're going to launch with pay-per-click, and you're going to see sales happen. And hopefully your sales will be good, your reviews will be good, and you'll start to see the BSRs come up. It's a slower launch strategy. It still works, and it works fine. When I first started, I built $1 million Amazon store without any pay-per-click and without any of that stuff. It's just slower. It takes time, a little more time, and there's more competition today. So you definitely want to look at ways to speed up the process, right? Because we're talking about quick launches. Anyway, hopefully that helps. But we look forward to seeing you. Hopefully you'll be able to come with us, and we'll be able to sit down and go over it one-on-one on your products, look at it, and make it happen.
Cool. Speaking of, while we're on the reviews topic, can you get friends to review your product without buying your product? I see the name verified purchase a lot. Can we talk about the specific as different types of reviews and which is more powerful than others? You kind of went over
Actually,
that.
a lot of the people, yeah, and a lot of the people who came with us, Casey over at Viral Launch comes on. He's one of our coaches. He came in and did a coaching in our event. He talked a lot about that, told people about it. Yes, you can get your friends to leave reviews. People do that on Facebook all the time. They'll post out, hey, I need some reviews, and they'll post their product in a link and ask people to go and review it. Personally, I've done that only a couple times, and once was an example, and the other, well, actually, pretty much both times were examples to. Actually, one was a test. The very first time was a test. I wanted to see how it worked, but the second time was an example to my group, and that was it. I don't do that. One, because I don't want to give away my products to all my competitors and have them copy exactly what I do. Uh, you can. I don't care if you learn the process, and I don't care if you go and find a product on your own. But what I don't want you to do is copy mine. That's why I say circle of influence, because those are people you know, and they're less likely to be copying you. And if you go to your bro or your girlfriend or your mom or your dad, you say, hey, can you go on Amazon and give them a link and say, look, just go here, and just give them a thing and say, here's exactly how you do it. I mean, send it to them in an email, cut it, give them a Word document that shows them exactly what to do. Say, hey, man, just do this for me. It'll be a solid. I really appreciate it. You know, and, who's going to tell you no? If they're your friends, they'll say yeah. If they're not, they won't. But they don't have to be all verified purchases. Now, that's not saying that some of them may not want to buy it. Some of them might want to buy it. Maybe you give them a discount. Who knows? That's up to you. But we'll go in more depth on that in the mastermind. We could spend an entire webinar covering that topic. Thanks, though. Great question.
Yeah. Last review question. Do you use the actual sizes of items in a bundle, or is it acceptable? Well, he said for reviews, do you use the actual sizes of items in a bundle, or is it acceptable to use a smaller version?
Not really getting where you're at. Clarify on that one a little bit, and we can come back to it.
Cool. Yeah, so Eric, if you're still on, if you could clarify that, that'd be awesome.
But I think I have an idea, but I don't want to just kind of go off because it could have a couple of different things that they're meaning there.
Oh yeah, here's Jason. We know Jason. He's so this is cool. Also, someone said they were worried and or concerned about being overwhelmed in China and not sure about China. I wanted to comment on your team out here. I am here now, and your team are incredible and super helpful. Just wanted to comment on how awesome they are out here. Meeting with them about the next step tonight. Thanks.
Jason, Jason Thompson's over there in China right now with my partner, Anjali and Roy. And he's sourcing products without me. But but he's going to be there when we get there. So he's out there working with them now. And the team I have there is top notch, um, far and above, top notch, above and beyond. Great partners. Just I've been blessed with having some great partners. Jeff, you're included in that, man. But the people in China that we partnered with, that are my partners in GDW's China side, are far and beyond extremely hardworking. And so I'm glad you're having a good one, man. Definitely appreciate you, and hopefully the stuff we're going over now is kind of helping you move forwards, and we'll definitely help walk through and get all those things happening, man, Jason. So appreciate you, and hope you're having a good one out there. Do not go play too hard. Hey, and no gambai. No gambai. No gambai.
Uh,
Those who've gone will know what that means, and those who are going will soon.
um, all right, so I think, God, this is probably like, man, of all. I mean, we've done a lot of these webinars and stuff like that. This is probably one of the best questions that I've seen. This is from our buddy Ben. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck would?
Okay, for those of you who don't know, Ben Fredericks is in our mastermind group. He's also runs the Ecom Docs, and he's a partner. And we've partnered with him and his partner, him and his other crazy doctor partner. And I would beg to say that Ben is probably one of the smartest, nicest, and fun guys to be around. We both have this crazy sense of humor. And that was so good, man. Thanks, Ben. I appreciate it. And hey, Ben, uh, I I got a message saying that I was going to get a special package for my birthday, but I haven't seen it yet. So if you can ensure that the special package gets delivered, I would.
He
I
just
would
said,
appreciate.
he goes, "Could you say that again? My speakers were muted." Dude, I deleted the question. After we answer them, we delete them. You got to retype
Uh,
it for me.
who Ben's question?
Yeah.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck chuck wood?
See?
Oh no!
Exactly.
What I'm asking Ben is, hey, I got that email you were going to send me a special present, and it was supposed to be
Oh.
coming in a special box. I haven't seen it yet. Just wanted to make sure that it didn't get lost. So if you can check on tracking in that, and ensure that Peter brings or Dorothy brings the Tower of Power to China in July, because we need to pass it on to its next new owner.
Yeah, he says it's going to be a singing telegram delivery.
Yeah, well, I love you guys are great. I really do love
All
it.
right. All right.
Oh, great.
Back,
Thanks, Ben.
back to our program. That was a good laugh.
My
All
speakers are muted.
right. So Rodney wants to know, can you buy in China on credit?
No, no. Actually, great question, man. Definitely appreciate you asking that one, Rodney, because I should have went over it, and I apologize. That completely slipped my head. Hey, you know what? We talked about all these great things that we do, but one of the things that we didn't talk about was how we protect you.
Yep.
One of the things we're not an escrow service, and I'm going to make sure that you guys know that clearly. We are not an escrow service, but most, as Ben, he'll tell you, You can ask Jason, who's over there right now, who's commenting while he's watching this webinar that we're on while he's in there with my people sourcing. Jason, you're nuts, but thanks, man. I appreciate you. But you're gonna be able to go there. You're gonna be able to buy smaller MOQs than you can online. You're gonna put $0 down for a majority of the products, and if you customize it, the amount you put down will be so small it will make your head spin. I tell people if you bring 10% of your budget. In other words, and to help answer another question earlier, I like to suggest people to bring $10,000 to source products. 10 grand. And the reason I say 10 grand is because with 10 grand, I'm pretty dang sure you will source 10 good products. And if you launch 10 good products, you're going to have 2 killers, 5 that do okay, and 3 duds, right? That's kind of the goal. If we do our job right, if we follow the process, and if we do our job right, we're going to have some type of a variable of these averages that are going to play and give us success, right? And the goal of getting it to launching quickly and expanding our product sets allows us to become very large businesses in a short period of time. Ben will attest to that. He's gone from 0. When I first met Ben, I was doing 2 million, 2.3, I think I was about $2.3 million a year when I first met him. In about 14 months, using a lot of techniques he learned from me, stuff he learned from some other people, but a process that's similar to this, and he wasn't sourcing in China because I wasn't yet. I actually brought him and his partner to this event and showed him how, well, I brought his partner and his sister to this event and showed them how to do it. But he launched, I don't know, I remember what it was, Ben, 16, 17 products I think it has been, 16 or 17 different products, and in about 14 months went from 0 to about 150,000 a month. So you're talking about someone in 14 months that has a $2 million a year business. It can move that fast, and funding is going to have a lot to do with it. Effort, time, the stuff you're going to do has a lot to do with it as well. He hit some really good home runs, man. I'll tell you that. Really did a great job, and I can tell you what, I learn from him all the time. He's smart, really smart, great guy, and his sister's a sweetheart too, and his partner's a great guy too. Fun. His partner and I can get in trouble. I gotta stay away from Peter. Uh, anyway, I'm just joking, but they're great people. But you can do this. I'm just using them as an example to say that you can really make it happen. But if you bring 10 grand, or if your budget is 10 grand, not if you bring 10 grand, because I don't want you to bring $10,000. Don't. But if your budget's 10,000, bring 10% of your budget. Bring $1,000. You won't spend it all. I think our average is about 1 to 3%. You're probably going to want to buy some stuff for yourself, just ancillary things, spend 30, 40, 50 bucks here, you know, that kind of stuff. We are, on this event, we're going to try our translators and our negotiators, the people who work on our team and or that we're hiring to help with this, are going to work very hard to go no deposit on almost everything. And I think we can go. My experience is I don't pay deposit on anything that is I'm not customizing. And if I'm customizing it, then I need to put a deposit. And the deposit's negotiable, and you're going to laugh because sometimes they'll be like, "Can you give me $30 down?" And you're laughing. You're like, "I just placed a $3,000 order, and they're asking for $30 as a deposit." So you know, it's really this changes the game so much, it's not even funny. Now, so your deposit, you're going to bring very little cash, just 10% of whatever you determine your budget is. I would say 10,000 or more. My budget's going to be, I think I'm going to do 50 to 100. I'm going to probably do closer to $100,000 on this trip. I'm going because it's Q4, and I'm going to load up because it's Q4. I'm going to reload a bunch of stuff that I already have, and I'm going to be really loading up hard for the Christmas season. And I'm going to buy in areas that I don't normally play in. Like, I don't like to play in toys a lot, but at Q4 I'll definitely put some toys up because toys have high return rates. They have a high challenge rate, so I don't necessarily like to play in them a lot. But at Q4 the volume is just hard to say no to. So we'll do that. but we're going to try to go no budget. We're going to do that. Anyway, try to bring about 10 grand. And if you can do that and get 10 good products, and let's say some of them cost you 17 cents like Inga, and other ones cost you $2, the average is still going to come out to play about $1 a piece, or a sub $1. It's funny. I have a buddy of mine named Bruce who took me there my very first time. He spends, it's funny, he likes to buy products that are under $1. He's got a $2 million Amazon store. His margin is 40%. If you take 2 million and you times it by 40%, you can see how much margin he has. He has no employees. He's retired in Florida, and this is all he does. And he just does that. He's special. He's fun, but his business is all in little bitty cheap stuff, and he makes a killing on it. And that's where he likes to play. He's really old school, and he doesn't like to change his ways. He's pretty stubborn. But you can get there any way you want, and your budget is based upon your personal finance. If you've got the money to spend, I think I know some people that have started and they have $40,000 in capital, and they've got $1 million stores now. They're doing $100,000 a month, and they started out with 40 grand. That they didn't spend 40 grand up front on a bunch of products. You start your products, get them going, then come back, reinvest. You need capital to reinvest. So they were able to do it, but 40,000 was kind of that number. And then once you get going, one of the things we do at our mastermind, and I'm kind of skipping around a little bit because it's still in that topic, is I have a good buddy of mine. He's in our mastermind group. He's in the private mastermind group that only people who go to our mastermind events. And our China Super Sourcing is a mastermind event. This isn't a party; it's a mastermind event. So we're going to go to this mastermind event. But the people who get into the mastermind event are part of the mastermind team. And I have my buddy from the Wharton School, whose name is Manish Gupta, is in there. He's an expert in logistics. So shipping. Why do I have a shipping company? I do a lot of shipping. Manish helps me negotiate contracts, reduces my price. For those of you who I don't do anything in the UK or Europe for the most part. If you need someone to help you there, Manish is the guy. And if you're in our mastermind, you've got access to him. I've got Brian Johnson with Pay-Per-Click is in our mastermind, and Chad. One of the things that Chad and I and other people talked about, we talked about this finance. How do you finance your business as it's growing? So the cool part is you can start with a little bit of money, but this is a pretty easy business to finance because Amazon pays you fairly fast. And also because Amazon will factor for you, and that's some of the things we'll talk about as we go through and we continue to work together. So those are good things and good questions. Did I get off topic, Jeff, and miss it, or did I hit it?
Well, the topic was, let me see, I don't even remember what the question
was. How much money?
Yeah, can you buy in China on credit? And so, yeah, I think you pretty much covered all that.
Yeah, no, you can. You may or may not be able to use your credit cards. Depends on your bank. If I use my ATM card, I can get out like 700 RMB once a day. So no, but you don't need a lot of cash. You just bring about 10% of whatever your budget is. I suggest a budget of 10,000 or better, but if it's 8 or 5, that's what it is. It's what it is. What we want to try to do is get 10 products, right? 10 is a good number. It works out very well, at least in my experience. So then you bring $1,000 cash, you convert it to Chinese currency, use that for your deposits. Anything that's left, you can put down. And like I said, we were talking about us being your inspection service and helping you out. This is another one of those things that we do, and it's part of the whole package. And that is that you're going to have your products when you order them. Our translators are going to get a copy of your receipt, and you're going to get a copy of your receipt. And then those receipts are going to go to my partners, and your product is going to get delivered to our warehouse in China. Before we ever pay a dime for it, before any money gets transferred to that manufacturer, it's going to end up in our warehouse, and we're going to inspect it against the sample. And I know I didn't even mention samples. By the way, one of the things you can do when you come with us is you're going to get samples of your products pretty much the same day you place your order or the day after. Before you leave, we should have pretty much the most, if not all, of the samples of all of your products. So you'll have the actual physical sample in hand when you place the order, and then we will take the sample and compare it against the delivery and ensure that, one, the quality is the same, because you bought based on the quality that you and in the store, right? In the facility, in their booth, like the Canton Fair and other places, they have these booths. Well, they're going to have the product in the booth, and you're going to buy it based on the quality of that product. Guess what? You get a sample. It's in your hand. It's that product. You go, yes, the sample is good. I like this. Well, when they deliver it to our warehouse, we're going to check it against the sample, and it needs to meet that guidelines. And if it meets the guidelines, we're going to release the funds. So basically, like an escrow service, but not an escrow service, what we'll do is at the end of the trip, we're going to tally up all of your purchases, all your deposits, and give you a grand total. And then you'll know exactly how much money you have in product that you've ordered. At that point, you'll wire the funds over to our U.S. bank, not to China. You'll wire it over to our U.S. bank. The product will be purchased, and then we will check it against the deal. Like I said, inspect it, and like Jason, who's over there right now working with my partners, is doing. What we'll do is we'll check it. He's actually buying products, and before he leaves, the products have been delivered. They are in a container, and they shipped it today. Yeah, today's Friday there, so the container left today. So he shipped 2,000 units, and he's only been there for a day, and he's already shipped 2,000 units on one of my containers coming to Houston, Texas. But what we do for us, since we're only there for a week, we're not like Jason spending 2 months in Asia, spending like 2 months out there, which is great, man. I can't wait. I have the time off to do that one. What we'll do is we're going to leave in a week. Well, you're going to have all your receipts, copies of your receipts. You'll have a copy of all that. We'll have a copy of it. We will give you a grand total. The week when we get back, I'll be sending out the invoice with all your totals on it. So what did you pay? What is your deposits? Anything like that will be on there. You'll get that in. I'll send it to you via email, and then all you do is just wire the money over. And then as the manufacturers start delivering the products, what will happen is my partners and I are going to email you photographs. We'll all be hooked up to WeChat. We've been using Kakao, but I think people like WeChat more, and the interface is a little bit better.
WhatsApp. It's actually WhatsApp. WhatsApp.
WhatsApp, yeah, not WeChat. The Kakao, WeChat, and WhatsApp is what is used in China. WhatsApp is very popular. I think people like that interface a little bit better. It's a little more useful here. So we're going to all get on WhatsApp together as a big group, and that'll include Angeli and your agent, your translator, rather. I'm sorry. Everybody will be on WhatsApp, so we can communicate while we're in China together, no matter where we're at. If you happen to be at a store and you just are like, I'm confused, I don't know what's happening, and you need to ask a question, you'll be able to ping me. I'll be able to see it on WhatsApp. I'll be able to respond back, and say, hey, take a picture of what the hell it is you're looking at, or take a picture of the office or the store you're in. Because if you take a picture of like the number, I'll know how to find you. Stuff like that. So we'll be able to do that. But so when the product hits the warehouse, and what will happen is Angeli will give you the photographs that we took. So we'll pull it out and inspect it. They'll take pictures against your sample. If it doesn't match your sample, Angeli's going to say, hey, this product's no good. The quality isn't there. The quality's no good. And you'll be able to see pictures of it and see the differences and make that call. If you choose not to buy it, we will not release funds to that manufacturer. We'll tell them to take the product back. Now, this doesn't happen often, but it does happen here and there. I think 2% was we did 4 containers so far. We still have more coming. 4 40-foot HQ containers, 68 CBM each. I don't know how much. I think we were close to 300 different products, and then multiple variations of some. And we had 4 issues with 4 products so far. That's it. So not a big problem, not a whole lot of issues with products. The success rate is extremely high. Also, so we make sure that you don't pay in full for something. If you bought it off Alibaba, you would have put 30% down, and then you would have paid the balance before they shipped, and then you would have got it and found out that it was the wrong product, and you would have been out the money, or you would have been out the deposit because it wasn't the right product, or you would have had to go through a lot of headaches. So we make that real simple and real easy, and you won't have to worry about it. So that eliminates the challenge for most of us, and ensures that we can get stuff shipped in a timely manner and get it into the prep center and get it all prepped and out the door. Also, if you're going to ship it and you don't have to use us, and you don't have to ship it to us in the U.S., I can guarantee that if you put it on our container, it's going to be cheaper than shipping it LTL or air freight or DHL. But if you choose to do that, and some people did have some products shipped that way, that's fine. You can make that happen. There's no big deal with that one. We're not worried about that. You can make that happen on your own as well if you want to ship it to another country. We have people from the UK, Norway, Australia. What do you have people from? We had somebody from Beijing. We have people from Singapore.
Norway, yeah.
Yeah, we have people from all over the
Guatemala.
place. Yeah, we had two guys that are just they're killing it now. Guatemala that came, they're really making it happen. They were there. So we have people from all over the place. Some of them wanted to sell in the U.S. in the U.S. Amazon.com market. Other ones are established in Amazon UK, and they wanted to do it there. So we were able to ship the product to them there from China. But they still got the benefit of the same inspection service and kind of that non-escrow style protection that they got in that aspect. And then we load that product up onto a container. If you're going to use our service, what happens is it goes in a GDW container with a lot of other products that are ours, and it'll come shipped right to our facility in Houston. The benefit of that is when you load that many products in a container, where the per unit shipping cost will be really cheap. I mean, when we fill a container, by aggregating everything and sharing everybody and all of us shipping in that single container, the cost for everybody to get it here is extremely cheap, really cheap. So it's definitely beneficial because your per unit cost will be down. Remember, we talked about winning on the buy. But I don't have you pay the shipping costs up front. We ship the container in because we don't know how they're going to load until after they're loaded and gone. So what we do is basically I front the money on the shipping. I also pay and cover the duty because we are bonded. We have a continuous bond that goes all the time. So we are bonded, and it'll come in, and the customs will charge us duty on what we need to do, and then give us a list of, and then basically we will bill you after we finish. So much like using DHL, it'll come in, we'll bring it all the way in, get it here, and then we'll just send you a bill when your product arrives. And then after that, you'll fill out some work orders on our website. Very simple and easy to do. You fill out the work orders, tells us what you want us to do. We're going to go over everything step by step, so you'll know what to do. You'll have a good idea of what you want to do. And we can help make suggestions as well. Trust me, I have no problems looking at products when they get here and making some determinations on packaging and helping you do that kind of stuff. Even in Yiwu, many people bought products, bought boxes, had the logos done, had their boxes logoed, and had it all put together and assembled and then shipped. And that all happened within about a 2-week time period from the time they were there and they placed the order. It was 2 weeks until it was delivered to our warehouse. So it moves real quick, and it's real important. So hopefully that covered that stuff, and I covered a couple other things. I'm sure you guys probably would have had questions on that. We do give huge discounts on any of the GDW services that get used, so we'll definitely help you there. Bigger than any discounts we give to any Facebook group or anybody else. It's the biggest discount we offer right now, period. So if you go with us and you buy with us, the value that you're going to get is far, far more than the cost of coming. As a matter of fact, you'll say if you spend 10 grand and ship it, you're probably going to save as much in shipping as the cost of the event, or at least a pretty significant chunk of that. And you still get the mastermind, and you still get the webinars every week after it, and you still get the big discounts and GDW services, which if you got 10,000 products, if you got 10,000 products, I can say you'll save 3 grand pretty confidently just in GDW services alone. Easily, or more. So the value is definitely there. We're giving you massive values. You guys have a unique opportunity. This thing is changing lives. It's unlike what anybody else does, but it's a proven process. It grows very, very large Amazon and e-commerce businesses. I just hope that we get to meet when we get there. Jeff, we got anything else, buddy?
Yes, sir. Ellen, I guess when you were talking about some of the costs and everything, I'm not really sure exactly, Ellen, what you're referring to. Maybe you picked up on it, Alan, but she's asking, are you talking landed costs?
I did mention landed costs and put some kind of examples in landed costs when we were talking about it. And landed basically is you buy the product for, you buy the product for a quarter, and it costs you a quarter to ship it, and then you also add some duty and everything else before it's landed in the U.S., and then any prep service costs and everything else to get it into Amazon. If you want to get into real details on landed cost means all the way to your sales channel. Most people use landed cost, meaning landed inside. Like here, we would talk about landed cost would be how much it costs you to buy it, ship it, and pay the duty to get it in the U.S. Some people want to use just the buying prices, their cost, and the shipping. Um, there's still taxes to be paid and filing fees and other junk. So to me, landed is getting it all the way into my warehouse. And then you can also add it into Amazon as part of the landed cost as well, although that is pennies as well, but it still adds pennies to the bottom line price, right? So I don't know which example that you're talking about, but for the most part, when I was talking landed, I was discussing the purchase price plus shipping, and I even mentioned that earlier on. Hopefully I did.
I believe you did, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. We got Ted. Besides the 10K for products, how much should we have set aside for shipping and launching the products?
That's a good question. I mean, and it's going to depend on the launching. We talked about that a little bit in the launching. Getting your circle of influence to give you some reviews and turning on a pay-per-click campaign doesn't really cost anything. Same thing, and we'll talk a little bit about it at the mastermind and in China. Facebook ads are really cheap, and driving traffic of people who are interested in your product and doing a good job there doesn't cost a whole lot. You can spend as little or as much as you want on prepping everything to get ready, like photographs and all that kind of stuff. The shipping costs, again, I look at per unit costs in shipping, not the overall costs. But, I think last time we looked, today we got quoted, it's generally running, and it has been fairly steady for at least a month or two, at about $110 per CBM landed all the way, meaning any trucking and all that stuff. So, if you've got, if you buy jewelry, which is very small items, you're probably not going to fill up very many CBM in the container, so you're not going to take up much space, right? If you're Um, buying pillows, they take a lot of room. They don't weigh anything, but they take a lot of room. And in a container, it's room, not weight, that weighs more. So as long as we're under 14,000 pounds, it's all about space. So the challenge is that you're going to take up a whole lot of room in that container, and because of that, you're going to pay a larger portion of the container costs. And generally, we can look at like this. You know, it cost about $5,000 to take a container and land it all the way into Houston. And that doesn't include duty and taxes. I'm not even including on that. That's completely separate and independent, and that's based on the product you buy. But it costs $5,000 roughly to get it landed in Houston, to get a container all the way trucked, landed, dropped off, the drop-off charges and everything else. About $5,000. So if we figure $5,000, 68 CBM, we're under 110. LTL right now is 110, so we're probably, what is that, 90-ish per CBM. So that's a pretty substantial drop just off a standard ocean freight rate right there. So we would divide that up based upon how many CBM each person had in the container, and you would just be covering your portion. So we're sharing it, we're aggregating it, and we're looking at the cost of that single container and just aggregating the cost between the people, and your cost will be dependent upon the amount of space you take. If you take 3 CBMs worth of space and it's 68 CBM and a $5,000, we can just do the division. It's pretty simple. I can actually do that right here on my phone, actually. Sorry, hold on. Usually I can do this in my head, but right now it's $73.53 a CBM. So that's pretty much going to be the number unless the price is cheaper or more expensive. It's a larger or smaller container. So it really depends on the container sizes too, and how much you guys buy. And the bigger the container, the more we can put in it. So it actually averages out to be very close to the same. What he also did he wanted to know about the shipping. Was there anything else in that one, Jeff? I don't remember off the top of my head.
No. She said no. Mm-mm.
Okay, it was just about the shipping. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it was just. It's kind of like, all right, we spend $10,000 on products, and then what? I mean, it was basically kind of how I.
Oh yeah, no, great. Because I started
Yeah.
that earlier. I want to make sure I cover all this
Yeah.
with people so you have a good idea how that happens. I mean,
Uh,
if you just think about it like this: if you bought products on Alibaba right now, what would you have to pay? You would pay a deposit for the product, which we're going to try to eliminate 99% of that instead of you paying 30% or more. You'd have to pay for the product. You'd pay for shipping. You'd pay duty or any kind of, all those little charges that the government likes to charge. And I could list them out. There's a bunch. It's ridiculous. Then you'd pay local transport because, somebody has to drop it off at your house. If you do door-to-door shipping, you're paying for that local transport. If you guys do DHL, you're insanely expensive. DHL is 4 times more expensive than ocean. It's 4x all day. Matter of fact, I tell people if we do air freight, we can cut your door-to-door express shipping in half. If we do ocean, you can take ocean plus GDW services like polybagging and labeling and cut air freight in half. It's that much cheaper. But think about what you have to do. What do you have to do? You have to buy the product, you have to ship the product, you have to pay your taxes, then you have to get it transported to whatever, then you still have to polybag it, you still have to label it, you still have to do all those things. You still have to take pictures of it, you still have to create your listings, you still have to do that. So the costs afterwards are really going to depend more upon what you want done, what services you want done. You're still going to have to launch it. Now you're going to do an inexpensive launch. Definitely can be done very successfully. There's people in this webinar right now who I know were successful and have launched several very successful products that way. Are you going to do a Thomason launch on top of that? That's something that you're going to have to determine. What I'm talking about when I'm talking about going to China is sourcing the product and shipping the product, which is basically that first section. But we still have to prep the product and launch the product. And there are definitely costs involved in that. We can do it as inexpensively or as elaborately as your budget allows. I can give you a rough estimate. Um, if you add another dollar onto the cost of your product, whatever that cost is, if you paid 17 cents for it, or let's say you paid a quarter for it, and it cost you a quarter to ship, you got 50 cents in it, and you add another dollar to it, you should be able to cover everything else. On the cheap products, my experience has been over years and years has been that if I'm doing quick math in my head, like I'm at the market, I'm looking at this product, I'm going, okay, man, that's $1.50. Well, man, that means it's going to cost me $2.50, $3 to get it into Amazon. Boom. So, I look at the dollar, $1.50, and that's a pretty good average. It's $1.50 more to get it into Amazon. Now, that doesn't happen with every product. That's not an exact science. That's not the exact numbers. Because duty can be different. Some things may have a duty charge that are nothing, $0. Other things can be very, very high. Medical products duty charges are high, but there are other things that have a $0 duty. You pay a $25 fee and that's it. There's no duty, just a $25 fee to U.S. Customs. So it really depends on the product that you buy, but there are costs after that. The goal with the shipping is for us to share the container costs so that we can save money. And so we're just splitting those container costs to save money. Everybody gets a win on that. I save money on shipping my product. You save money shipping your product, and everybody wins. So we'll definitely work on that one. I don't know what your duty is going to be on the product. It's hard to check what that is. And then as far as services from GDW or any other company that you choose to use, that's just going to depend on what you ask them to do. But, if you add $1 or $1.50, you're probably going to be pretty safe. And it'll at least give you a better idea where you need to be. So, I've launched a supplement not long ago, and I spent $40,000 launching that one supplement. I don't know how many. We gave away so much product to get it to rank on Amazon because the volume on that product is so insanely huge that it was worth spending the money. Now, that's a lot of money, trust me, but the volume was so huge, the money that we would make, that it was 10% of the annual. So, I'm going to spend 10% of the annual revenue from that business or from that one product to launch it. It's a pretty cheap launch to me, But if your budget doesn't allow you to do that, well, then we can look at that, we can discuss it, and we can scale down your buying to products that fit more what your budget will allow you to do. So if your budget only allows you to spend X, then we need to scale you down to where that makes sense. So if 10,000 is your entire budget, maybe we spend 5,000 in product and we go with a less expensive product that maybe is a $12 to $15 product on Amazon that's going to make you $4 or $5 profit per unit, and we get you in that way, and you're still able to become successful. You're still able to launch those products. And if you get products like that are selling 30, 40 units a day, in Q4, trust me, there are products that cost 50, 60 cents. You can get them into Amazon for $1, $1.50, and you can sell them for $15, and you'll sell 30 or 40 units a day. All day. That's a great margin on an inexpensive product. Even though Amazon takes a majority, still, how much do you have in it? $1? So to take $1 and make $5 out the other side, it's 400% ROI. So it's a decent deal. Once you start building capital up, and you can afford to do more expensive, higher margin and higher cost products, then you can start looking at the bigger stuff. So it just may make sense to buy a less expensive product. And we'll definitely can talk about that in private, independent, together as we get ready to go to see what makes sense for you guys. Anyway, hopefully that answers a lot of those questions. I want to make sure that we're all on page with that.
All right. Ricardo, I am from Lima, Peru. I would like to know if I can be part of this sourcing trip and if the cost would be the same.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we have two guys from Guatemala who came. We've got guys from all over. You're from Lima, man. Come on, Peru. We'd love to see you. Si habla español, un poquito español for me. I don't know. Peruvians speak Spanish, or do they speak something else, Jeff?
Huh.
You're speaking English, but I speak a little bit of Spanish myself. I'm in Texas. I have a lot of Spanish people. My wife is fluent. My children speak Spanish. So, yeah, come on down, man. Your cost is the same. I'm, I'm assuming you're gonna launch in Amazon US or Amazon Mexico, or a combination of the unified Amazon accounts for North America or something like that. But yeah.
All right. All right.
Cool part is
So this dude, okay, so Ricardo from Peru is 22. So let me tell you what, Ricardo, you're 22 years old. I'm 41. If I was 22 right now and I knew what I know about Alan then, or whatever, didn't even make any sense. But my point is that, dude, yeah, I mean, it's like, God, you're 22. If this was what, I mean, the internet wasn't even around when I was 22. Well, it was around, but Al Gore had just invented it.
when he's
You know,
your age, he's gonna be.
oh my gosh, it's like you just have your whole freaking life to just crush this and everything. That's just, man, yeah. If there's any way you could get there, man, and he's already launched 2 products, so doesn't look like he's a newbie. So 22 years old, not a newbie. How old was Josh? That
About the
went on
same.
the last trip.
20, yeah, Josh, 22, 23 years old. Josh sold everything he had in the United States. He's from Texas. He's not too far down the street from where I'm at here. He sold everything. His business has allowed him, his Amazon business has allowed him to quit everything. He's 23 years old, um, and he's traveling around the world with a backpack. And he came to China with us. We showed him how to do this. He bought all the products. He's sending it all to us. We're basically doing all the grunt work for him. He's launching the products. He's doing he's doing his listings. He's doing all that part, because that's the important part. Remember, work on what makes you money, not what costs you money. So he's pretty much given us all his product to do all the basically the labor parts for him, and he's backpacking all over the world, and he gets every 2 weeks he gets a big check from Amazon. I mean, come on, at that age, at that age I did do some of that, but at that age, if I would have, yeah, this wasn't available then. This is, like I said in the beginning, this is an exciting time. This is a gold rush, like the gold rush that happened in California. It's the same thing, except for more people are actually going to make money with this gold rush than any in history. Than any. Because it's not hard to do if you have a process and you have mentors and people that can help you. It's definitely not hard to do. And we hope that we can be that. If we're not, that's cool. And if you have another mentor and you're doing it other ways, that's great. If you think that the sourcing part of our business can help you out, hey, that's cool too. And if you just want to use our freight services and other stuff like that, we can help you there too, man. Again, my goal is to help 1,000 people get free. That's just a personal goal for me. Nobody else has to, do it. If you want to be part of that, I mean, I'd be glad to have you there. People will tell you how much time, effort, when I phone, the hours that I keep. I am a workaholic and I don't sleep much. So So I definitely have, uh, a heart for serving people, and I look forward to being able to serve you guys and help you change your life like Josh and like Diego and like Inga and like Jason and like Ben and like Peter and like, man, Stacy, who's just killing it, and JT out in San Francisco, who has not only been super successful in his, and these are all part of my team, my mastermind group, guys. These are the family here. JT, who launched one killer product on Amazon, it tore it up, blew up. He had no idea it was going to happen. It blew the hell up on him. He launched, I don't know how many variations of it. Then he went and did a Kickstarter and raised over $200,000 to start a clothing line of pants, and it's killing it. And he's just one after another killing it because the process, the business understanding, you know, just watching people kill this left and right is so exciting, and I hope that you guys are going to be part of it. Who else we got? Jeff, anybody?
Uh, oh, nice. Jan Jan wants
You
some
there?
love. She said, how about Jan? Just hit $1 million on
Hello?
FBA since August. Can you hear me? Hello?
I see people still here. Well, hopefully we didn't lose them.
I'm here.
Anyway, guys, it's Jeff definitely there. And get into that question section. Maybe I can see some things.
Testing. Hey,
Ah,
can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Okay. I don't know what
Can you
happened.
hear me?
No, so Jan, Jan wants some love.
Yeah,
She,
I was gonna.
she's like, how about
Yeah.
Jan? Just hit $1 million on FBA since 8/15.
Dan. Jeff, get Mitch to get that $1 million club um, logo and GIF together.
Okay.
I want Jan. I mean, we have other people who are in it, but we were just starting to put this together. Jan, if you're on here, we're just starting to put this thing together, and it's the $1 million club for GDW and Ecom Inner Circle, and it's everybody who's been to our masterminds who are hitting $1 million a year. And I remember where you were in December when you came, and man, that is just killer exciting. And I want you to get the first "Welcome to the $1 Million Club" email. And we're putting that together, and we're putting together a real special group that's just $1 million and up sellers. And because when we get to these scales and we start hitting these marks, Jan knows, Ben knows, TJ knows, Stacy's right behind you. She's going to know too, Jan. Man, that's exciting. Thank you for telling me. They're going to know it changes there. And the things that we're talking about, this is intermediate, beginner to intermediate level. Not super beginner. I mean, if you have a store, you've got a couple of things selling. This will work great for you. If you're brand new, I would say that I'm going to go over things that are going to be so far over your head that it'll be hard. Not impossible, because we had people come on the last trip that were pretty dang new. And I definitely want to help everyone, but if you're there and at that point, we're definitely gonna get you there and making it happen. Hey, hopefully your daughter's with you, Jan, popping the champagne too, man. I am so excited about that. Ricardo, hey, look at that, Ellen, you're from Colombia, sweet. And Ricardo, you too.
And Ellen's given us lots of kudos. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you for being on and everything. Appreciate it. Hope you
Yeah,
can
no
join us
problem.
in China. I know she's thinking very seriously about China.
You know what? Definitely, you can ask the people that have come. These masterminds are big. This isn't going to be as advanced as the MDC stuff, but it's definitely the process. You're going to have a better understanding of the process than most people are getting and make it happen. Ooh, Lindsay, I didn't know that. Oh man, say congratulations for me, Jan. That's exciting. You need to come to China with us and go to the big giant Christmas show. You'll love it. You'll be a kid in a toy store. I know you will. You'll love it. Anyway, we hope to see you guys there. This is definitely, ask any of the people. The funny part is, man, I love you guys. You're here with me, man, and these are guys from the mastermind that are already in here. They've already been on the trips. They've already been on masterminds with me. They work with me in GDW. They know my prep service, and they're here in this webinar because, well, I don't know why you guys are here, but I mean, I appreciate it, man. The support is just amazing, and I love you and thank you, man. But you can ask these guys. I will give everything I got to help you get there. And we go above and beyond. You're going to get your handheld from A to B, and we're going to be able to supply you end to end. And if you're new to intermediate, getting that end-to-end help changes your business. If you're intermediate to advanced and you get end-to-end, and you can take, because if you're intermediate to advanced and you're working your butt off, you're a go-getter. But if you could take the grunt work off your shoulders and know that you have one person to call, one company to deal with, one throat to choke to help you across the finish line, your business will change. This is something we went over in our mastermind group in December, and people like Jan, who was there, her business went from what it was then to $1 million now. Man, it's May. It's May. We're not even 6 months into the new year, Jan. And we've seen Ben Fredericks, who was here earlier. He experienced the same stuff. Stacy experienced the same stuff. Kent. I mean, just so many members of our mastermind group who are in the $1 Million Club. So many members of our Facebook group in general who are in the $1 Million Club. It's just exciting, man, and I'm happy. But I want more. I want more of you guys to get there. So,
hey, I want to give a really quick shout out to Wayne. Wayne's going to be joining us in China. Thank you, Wayne.
Hey,
so
that's like one or two people left that are going to make it to the that are going to be able to make it to that the early bird deal. Wayne, you get the early bird, I think, man.
Yeah, he made it. He just.
That means you get to come a day early, and you're going to hang out with me and some of these people from the $1 Million Club that are going to be able to talk about how this works and help us out. Man, it's a game changer, bud. Life changer. I promise. And we will definitely exceed your expectations. Exceeded substantially. So we're ready to go. Sorry, Jan, that was funny. I know.
That's funny.
That is funny. Jan just said, "Hey, what? We still haven't launched a darn thing. Imagine what would happen if we did anything, right?" and she's talking about that launch. When you had that question, we were talking about there's different types of launches. Jan knows what I'm talking about. When I first started, I started, and in 2 weeks I listed 38 products. I went and put 38 products that I sourced up on Amazon to sale in my first 2 weeks because I just didn't know what I was doing. I put them up there, and it blew up, and I did $850,000 in the first 10 months, $1.5 million the second year. By the third year, I had about 50 products, but I did a bunch of creative bundling and other stuff that we'll go over in the mastermind. We'll go over in China, actually. I did a bunch of creative bundling and stuff, and I created a lot more listings. And I ended up with 197 listings, and 197 listings got me to 4 million-ish, a little under, $3.6 million. And then we started doing this, and we went to 5 million and beyond. So Jan's laughing. She's going, they've hit the $1 Million Club, and they haven't paid for one of those viral launches or anything yet. And just imagine what would happen if you do it. Hey man, if you're not paying for it and your launch costs are that low and you're killing it, Jan, what you're doing is good. And man, come to China. Make sure you make it to the mastermind, man. The last of the killer masterminds before we start breaking out the $1 million deal, and uh, and come tell us because I'd really love to know, if you just found some kind of really cool secret that we can incorporate for all the rest of us. So that'd be really cool to know. But that is so cool. That is cool. Cool. Anybody else got anything good for us, question wise or anything?
Um,
Correctly. Last
where's
mastermind's going to be in Austin again, Jan. Just to let you know, invite only. If you're $1 million, you're already invited, so no problem. You were there last year. You're part of the family. So all current mastermind people are who meet the financial requirements will be invited. The year-end mastermind is huge. You have to meet financial requirements. It is going to be very high level, and I am bringing huge guns. Jan was there last year. It's going to be in Austin. It's not going to be in the same place, Jan, um, because we probably won't be able to fit in there. And I'm thinking about renting a ranch. What do you think? You tell me. You were there last time when we had the house. This is a working mastermind, guys. 4 days of intensive work all day long. Multiple coaches with multiple different disciplines: business, finance, shipping, logistics, pay-per-click, sales and marketing. You name it, we had them. Matter of fact, I stepped out of the way and I didn't hardly speak at all, which I thought was the best mastermind ever. And I love that. I want to do that again. I want to make it so that I just bring you guys and I bring these other killers. Ryan Moran came and gave our keynote and opened it up for those of you who may know who Ryan is. Great eBay, great Amazon, a great guy. He's also from Austin here. So we're going to do it probably here in Austin. Been thinking of do a ranch because I think we can do something really killer. So I'm thinking about that one. We're looking around. I'm looking to see what we can do and just rent a ranch. Maybe a ranch that has a whole bunch of little individual cottages or something like that, but with a big enough common area that we can do the coaching and everything else. So we'll see. We're looking around. We'll try to get some ideas and let you know. But we're going to keep it in the Austin area. Maybe try to make it a tradition. Meet here at the end of the year. I think as our group gets more international, we'll start bouncing it around a little bit more. So we'll see how that goes. But that's going to be exciting. And all you who go to the China trip now have the opportunity to make it to that year-end mastermind too. You automatically become part of the family, and you get special discounts and special things that other people don't get. You think I'm talking about cool stuff now? Yeah. Wait till you see the stuff we do in our masterminds. So, anyway, this is late. I know a lot of you have stayed up really late staying on here. Jeff, I know you stayed up late too. I appreciate it, man. Definitely appreciate it for staying on and making it happen. Hey, Hurley, you're right, buddy. Investing $15,000 in a business that makes you $100,000 a month is a pretty low investment. 10 grand is in products, but that's no big deal. If you're really launching products, you're spending thousands of dollars now, and you're spending thousands more on shipping. If you're really launching it and you got a business that's doing anything, you're definitely doing that. So the trip doesn't cost 15 grand. The mastermind, your hotel room, all your food, all the other stuff costs 5 grand. So it's all inclusive except for your plane ticket. So if you paid for all that yourself, it would really cost you 3 to 4 grand, but you wouldn't get any mastermind. You wouldn't get to be with the other people, so you wouldn't get any of that. I'm not making money off this, or else I'd be charging $15,000, and I guarantee you people would come to see what is happening here for 15 grand just for the mastermind alone. So this is a massive value. I'm doing this to help people, not make money. I make more money in a month on Amazon in profit than most people make in a year. So I don't, that's no big deal. I don't care about that. If I was doing this as some information broker, I'd be 10 to 15 grand for this. And if you're going to invest $10,000 in product, well, then that's product and you own it, so it actually has value. So it's really not a cost. That's an investment in product, and you can always sell that product and make money. So look at it, and don't look at this thing as a cost. Look at it as an investment in your business. The cost to get there is $1,000. Plane ticket's cheap, no big deal. Round trip. Hotel, all the food, all that stuff, all included in this, including translators, the warehousing, all that stuff for $5,000. I mean, we're making zippity doo dah there. And then any product money that you buy is product that you're going to sell. That's what it's all about, right? Making money, selling products. So the goal is to sell and make money and sell products. So if you're investing in products, that's a capital investment. It comes under your cost of goods sold in your line item. You can write it off, and then you sell those products, and you make a profit, and it offsets the balance. And what is left in between after earnings and after distributions and after the cost of running your business is called profit. And the goal is to make profit. And what I can do and teach you is how to do that. So if a few $1,000s in the mastermind and the trip is going to be detrimental, and you can't afford that to be able to build the business, then right now may not be the right time. And I'll say that to anyone. I don't want you to hurt yourself or do anything that you don't feel comfortable with. But Diego and his brother sold their car and bought 2 tickets. Both of them came. They spent $10,000 in mastermind money. They bought $10,000 worth of product. So they spent $20,000. They're making $11,000 a month and headed to $16,000 a month right now. I think it was worth it for them. But that's your decision, not mine. And I want you to do what's comfortable for you. If it's uncomfortable, man, then the best thing is to not do it. Because Nike said just do it, and Steve Jobs says when it gets hard, most people quit, and he's exactly right. If you want to make it happen, you got to do it. You got to be willing to step out in faith. You got to be willing to eat the Chinese food. Read my blog on gdwinc.com. There's a great one. It's called How Eating Chinese Food Determines If You're going to be successful or not. And it has to do with a study done at the university. Ali, who's another mastermind guy, and I were talking about it. He actually went to school there and was part of that study. But it talked about people who wouldn't step out and who basically wouldn't eat food from countries that they were going to visit, and they refused to eat the food before they went and try it, and they only wanted to eat their local food, and how the people who stepped out and were excited to try the new food and experience that other culture had extremely successful experiences, all of them. These were kids that were going to study abroad. They were going to spend a semester in another country at another college. And the ones who refused to do that, who just couldn't do it, couldn't bear to think to eat anything other than what they were normally accustomed to here, had poor experiences. And the percentages on that for all the kids that were going abroad to study and that they did was substantially skewed in the favor of the people who were willing to step out on faith and try something new. And so, maybe this is a step out moment. Maybe now's the time to step out. That's your choice, man. All I can say is I'm here. We'd be glad to have you. I'll help you as much as I can along the way. If you trip and stumble, my hand's out there to help pick you up as best I can. I go above and beyond to make this work for everyone, and we look forward to seeing you guys. Jeff, if you got anything else, bud, it's 11:21. We're running long. I've been away from home for 5 days straight, and want to get some sleep and wake up in the morning and have coffee with my wife.
Cool, dude. Yep. I mean, I think we're good. It's a great webinar. Thanks to everybody that that participated, asked questions, stayed on, and look forward to seeing all of those in China. Hope that looking forward to seeing some others of you, register and join us. And yeah, man, great job as always. Awesome information, and just totally rocked it out. Totally give. I know I speak for everybody that we appreciate you doing that, and it's just phenomenal stuff, man. So thanks to everybody. Everybody have a great rest of your week and weekend wherever you are, and we'll talk to you again really soon. Bye bye now.
Have a good one. Thanks, gang. See ya.